Okay. Hello. All right. We're back. I apologize for missing 2 games. I am seriously sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, I hate missing games, but unfortunately I've had to do that recently. But we are back here. We get to talk not just this game tonight, but I think tonight's actually a pretty important stream overall. I think tonight we got to go over exactly what the Bulls' options are for the trade deadline. We got to talk about how the Bulls should be planning for the upcoming offseason. I think that's very vital to this Bulls trade deadline and what exactly they're going to be deciding to do. Bulls injuries continue to stack up, and so we continue to lose guys by the minute, unfortunately. So that's never good, but just because guys are injured does not mean that there is any sort of excuse for losing games like this. To me, this was a very winnable game overall for the Bulls. I thought this game was extremely winnable. The Heat did not look very good past that first quarter. Like, the Heat offense kind of died after that first quarter. I was just like, this is so winnable. Like, if the Bulls actually just like locked in for just like a second here and they were actually would actually make their shots around the basket for once, they would have won this game. But it took a Ayo Dosunmu takeover in the fourth quarter where he scored 15 points, 15 to 28 points in the fourth, to get the game even close. And honestly, I don't even think this game even deserved to be this close. But I mean, the Bulls were hanging around within 12 points like the entire game. The Bulls were like never like getting blown out at any point. And so again, I think the Heat were not playing their best game. Their 3-point shot wasn't looking the best. Their defense was giving up some easy looks that I'm not used to seeing them give up, but the Bulls couldn't convert at the rim. And I was just so like, man, this looks disgusting. Now I understand that both teams played last night, but holy shit, like this is a really bad performance by the Bulls tonight overall. If it wasn't for this man, I honestly don't even know if we're even considering this a clutch game, because I legit had to just go insane like after that last time out from Miami. But good job by him. We'll see if he's still on the team next week. But overall, man, I don't understand what the hell is going on with this Bulls team, especially this season when it comes to finishing around the basket. I am very much aware that the Bulls have some guys that have notoriously been pretty bad around the rim in their career. But to see just like kind of everybody missing their interior shots is just absurd to see. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Bulls shot 9 of like 25 from like the rim or in the paint, I think, in the first half. It was something around that. It was pretty awful. The Bulls' 3-point shooting was fine tonight. They made 15 to 38. That's 39%. That's very solid. They also had 29 free throws in this game, more than the Miami Heat. The Bulls should have won this one, honestly. They just flat out sucked. They couldn't finish their shot around the basket, which was just utterly stupid. This continues to just be a big issue for the Bulls. 16 turnovers is too many. 9 in the first half. A lot of bad turnovers by this team from up and down through the roster, including Ayo. Ayo had 4 turnovers tonight, and a lot were bad passes. So, very overall not good game by the Bulls. I think this was extremely winnable. And so in this little mini play-in tournament preview, the Bulls fall in the first game. And I think that, honestly, I'm going to be dead serious. I think this was honestly the Bulls' best chance of winning any game in this little mini series. Obviously, every game is winnable, but this was the game that you're at home. Miami had to travel from Florida because they were facing Orlando, but in Miami yesterday. So Miami had to travel from Florida to here. The Bulls traveled from Indiana to here, so much smaller trip for the Bulls. and now you're going to go to Miami and play them in back-to-back home games. I think Miami has the advantage for the rest of the series easily. Little mini series here, but I think this was your best chance, honestly, to win one. Unfortunately, the Bulls were not able to pull it out. And we gotta really start talking about this trade deadline stuff. So before we get into it all, though, I would appreciate if you hit the like button on the stream. Helps me out a lot. I appreciate everyone tuning into the stream. I know I missed 2 games. I'm seriously sorry about it, but school works a lot. I have a class on Monday, so again, no more streams on Monday anymore. Even if the Bulls are playing, no more streams. But I'm here today, and we get to talk today. All right. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about options that the Bulls should be looking to do at this trade deadline. But let's go ahead and recap the game just a little bit more here. Kobe White sucked tonight. I don't even know what else to say. Kobe didn't score his first 3 points until a 3 late in the second quarter. Just flat out, just a very bad game from Kobe White. He had a lot of defensive errors in this game, and I'm very shocked to see just how many defensive errors he had. Pretty bad overall. Buzelis also did not have the best game, but I was a little bit pissed off at Billy because I thought he should have left Buzelis out there in the third quarter. Buzelis has done a good job this season. When it's a bad first half, he usually does a decent job to recover it. In the second half, we saw that against the Houston Rockets, if you remember that, but Buzelis hit 2 threes to start the third quarter, but then he got taken out pretty quickly out after that. 9 rebounds from him, though, so at least he was contributing elsewhere. Bad Vucevic game, was missing interior shots left and right. Just a very overall terrible game from him, nonetheless. Io is, player of the game. He wasn't really having the best game overall until the takeover, but he ends up very clearly leading this team in scoring at the end of the game after that big, humongous spark he gave us in the last 3 minutes. So props to him for, kind of taking over these last 2 games. That Pacers game, I was so pissed off at that Bulls in that fourth quarter. Iowa was basically the only guy scoring in the fourth quarter. And then he got taken out, and the Bulls just sucked after that. So it's basically been 2 straight games in a row where Iowa has had to take over in the fourth quarter, and it's really astounding to me because it's just in that game specifically, Josh Giddey's playing, Kobe White's playing, Montes Buzelis is playing. I thought our core is supposed to be the best players, and yet I'm watching Iowa Dosunmu be our best player in the second half of that game, mostly in the fourth quarter. That's inexcusable, and it happened again tonight. No Josh Giddey tonight, but Kobe's playing. Buzelis is playing. These guys have to be better. To see Ayo Dosunmu be the best player in the second half of 2 straight games for this Bulls team, as much as I love Ayo Dosunmu, and I love this man to death, this should not be happening. It just straight up shouldn't. And so to see this from this team is absolutely disgusting for me. It just makes me have less faith with these guys being the core. I'm mostly upset more at the backcourt than Buzelis, because Buzelis, I understand he's in his second season, but the backcourt yesterday was god awful. Not a good game from Kobe again tonight. So I don't exactly know what the Bulls plan on doing, but right now, for me at least, it's sell. I really do think the Bulls should be selling. Bulls have been doing a good job at getting me to stop watching. If a team plays aggressive defense, we don't know what to do. It's honestly insane, right? If this team faces any sort of perimeter point of attack defense that's decent, they turn it over a lot, a ton. And even in that Lakers game, right, which again I haven't, I wasn't able to watch the game live, but I went and watched back some stuff. The Bulls are just turning it over just stupidly against them, just because the Lakers brought a little bit of pressure. And it frustrates the hell out of me because it's just Josh Giddey had 5 turnovers in that game and had some horrible turnovers. Kobe had some horrible turnovers as well. That just cannot happen from this backcourt. And I don't understand why this continues to be such a major issue. Kobe's having his worst turnover season of his career. Giddey's turnovers are at an all-time high as well, but I understand he has the ball in his hands more, but still it's bad. It just can't continue, honestly. Now, Buzelis wasn't turning it over tonight, which, he's been also a guy that has turned it over a lot this season, but he just struggled with the shot overall tonight. So, 3 turnovers tonight from Kobe, a lot of bad ones, and this one again, an early one that was pretty horrendous. So, we got to see this get fixed up, man. I have to say that. We should sit Kobe before he lowers his value. That's not going to happen, but I will say this. Kobe did raise his value in the last 5 games before that Pacers game, right? Kobe scored 20 straight points in the last 5 games before that Pacers game happened. So he did raise his value up a little bit, but his recent 3-point stretch has been pretty dreadful in these last 2 games. So the percentage climbed up, and that's going right back down. I don't blame you, honestly, Salty Solution, for thinking that way, because like if I were running the Bulls, I would also probably sit Kobe until we actually get a trade for him. And I also just don't want him to get injured because he's been susceptible to injury this season. So like sitting Kobe, honestly, is like probably like a pretty good decision if you're the Bulls, but that's not gonna happen. Obviously, the Bulls are trying to win every game here, so and they believe Kobe's gonna help them win games, even if he is eventually traded. So we'll see. Brett Donaldson, Kobe shouldn't be considered part of the core with his play recently. I agree with you. I've been adamant that if the core is Giddey, Kobe, Buzelis, and Asenge, that's a terrible core. I hate that core a lot. It doesn't make any sense. Not to mention then Kobe and Giddey don't complement each other at all. I also think Buzelis and Giddey being your top 2 players and just in general players, but also potential, is just not good. You need better. You need someone with actual true superstar potential, and neither of them I think have that. So that's an overall just terrible core. I mean, in all aspects. Defensively, there's not much there besides Buzelis' shot blocking, right? So it's really frustrating. But I do think that even with this like recent play from Kobe, that's been better before that Pacers game, right? I'm in agreement with you, Brett. Like Kobe needs to be traded. And it's not to be like, like Kobe's been like terrible or whatever, or he's been a bad locker room guy or whatever. The Bulls just need to move on from him, because I think it's very adamant, and I've been saying this for a while now. Like the Bulls are not doing anything this season. I hope people understand that. I know a lot of people disagree with this statement, and I don't know why people are drinking the Kool-Aid again about this, but you just lost to the Indiana Pacers, who have 12 wins in the season, and 3 of those wins are from you. Okay, you have not been, at the time, the worst team in the league coming into that game. And you've now lost to the Miami Heat twice. And you're about to go to Miami and face them twice again. I mean, you're already down in this little mini 3-game series. So, you're not doing anything with this team. I'm sorry, you're just not. And so, you got to make a decision with Kobe right now. He's on the last year of his contract. He has at least raised up his value to the point where it's just like, okay, you're not trading someone on like the worst stretch of his career, right? Because before that 5-game stretch where he scored 20 points in a row, or had 20 points in 5 straight games, I don't know, Kobe's value was like plummeting, like constantly. Then that little stretch happened, and like, okay, like he's like, we've seen some like good play from him, the 3-point shots going down. 2 bad games in a row now. So I think, honestly, trading this man as early as possible is probably the best decision. But reason you're doing this is because last year of his contract, do you really want to pay him this upcoming offseason? I don't think so. But even if you did want to pay him, he could leave for nothing. He's an unrestricted free agent. And I understand that people are like, oh, well, you can do these like backdoor deals and everything. And it is true that the Bulls, when free agency starts, like they get the first talk at Kobe before any team can talk to him. That is true. The Bulls can start talking to Kobe if they keep him past his deadline. They can start talking to Kobe right when the NBA Finals ends. But even with that being the case, Kobe could still just leave for nothing. Like, they can have those talks and everything, but you're still then risking Kobe leaving. And instead of trading him at this deadline and getting something in return for him, you just lost Kobe White for nothing. You did not get anything in return. And again, with the way that this team is currently at right now, you're back to 2 games under 500, unfortunately. You just lost to two like bad overall games from you. Like you lost to the Pacers, which should never happen, but it's happened 3 times this season, and you lost to Miami Heat in a game where I don't think Miami even played that well. And you're at home. It's time. You need to step back and understand that, yeah, you know what? We might even want to bring Kobe back, but just because he's an unrestricted free agent, we got to trade him now. We do not want to lose this man for nothing, and we need to get future assets now. It is the proper decision moving forward. I appreciate what Kobe has done in his time with Chicago. I have, seen this man outperform my expectations in many different seasons. Like there was times I was completely out on him, and then the next season he comes back and he actually plays pretty decently. We saw that big jump when he moved into the starting lineup for the second time in his career, and made a big jump. Got to 19 points per game. The year that Levine was out with injury. But he hasn't turned into an all-star, unfortunately, and this season has been an injury-riddled season for him, and a season of inconsistency. The Bulls aren't going anywhere anytime soon, so it's just time to move on from him. And if you're all in on Giddey, then I don't think Kobe's the best backcourt mate for him. I think that him going to contender and playing for, I know the Houston Rockets are interested, which we'll talk about that in a second here, and the Minnesota Timberwolves obviously have been interested for a long time now, it seems like. He has some interest, at least. That's decent. I would like to see a bigger trade market, obviously, because that would help drive up his value and the Bulls get a better return for him. But I think the Bulls just got to accept the best offer they get. What's going on, Taro King? Did you watch the game tonight, Taro? I hope you're able to watch it tonight in any way possible. So yeah, I think it's time. I really do think it is time for Kobe to move on. Just to wrap up this game, though, did you guys watch Patrick Williams tonight? Did you guys see the absolute atrocity that was on the NBA floor tonight? Patrick Williams, bro, tonight was one of the worst players I've ever seen, and that's for Patrick Williams' standards, okay? Patrick Williams was so awful tonight, and Jalen Smith goes out with injury, and Billy Donovan himself, who has been a very terrible overall manager of the minutes this season with certain guys, he himself could not even play Patrick Williams more than like 6 minutes in that second half because Patrick Williams was so awful in this game. The Bulls don't have a backup center because both Collins and Smith are out after Smith went out with a calf issue. He didn't want to play Olbrich, which I honestly understand. And we tried to play Patrick Williams at backup center when Smith went out, and he's just so unplayable that it's just like, oh my God. Patrick Williams in the first half, when he wasn't playing backup center, he had a very terrible turnover where he got completely pickpocketed by Drew Smith. He gave up an offensive rebound, and I'm talking about in a rotation stint that was like 5 minutes here. Gave up an offensive rebound. He missed a gimme at the rim completely. Got blown by on defense. And didn't do it and contributed nothing to the box score except for 2 missed shots, which one of them is not his fault. He had to throw up a grenade because it was the end of the shot clock. And a really terrible turnover. Patrick Williams is so bad. And like, again, this is for Patrick Williams standards. I was like, what the hell am I watching? Then in the second half, he had a horrible possession where he didn't catch the ball cleanly, couldn't get the 3-point shot off. He decided to drive and completely airballed a layup. He tried to get the offensive rebound, but it would have been a travel anyway if he got it. But it's just, I'm like, God, Lord help me. Yeah, I was very upset. Julian Phillips was more impactful in his minutes tonight, and he played 4 minutes tonight than Patrick Williams in his 12 minutes. It was utterly insane just to witness that. So that happened. Herter hit some threes tonight. That's a welcome sight. It's been a long time, I feel like, with Kevin Herter. Really rough season from Kevin Herter overall. He is also a trade candidate, but his 3-point shooting has been dreadful. 31% heading into tonight. I believe now... sorry, I just want to see what his exact numbers are on wide open threes this season. 30.8% on wide open threes heading into tonight. So that obviously went up a little bit. He hit a wide open three tonight, but really rough overall season for Kevin Herter, but good start to the game. And then obviously Io closed it out. I love this man to death. This man is incredible. He has saved this Bulls team many times this season, it feels like. 10, 20-point game for Io DeSumo this season. Obviously averaging career high in points. So very solid effort from him, especially as he took over in that fourth quarter. So that's that. So anything we need to talk about before we move on to the trade deadline stuff, because we got to talk about the trade deadline. Did not watch the game, unfortunately. Was busy with things, but I'll watch the highlights in a bit. All right, good luck with that, Taro. Okay, I will say it's not going to be the prettiest highlights. From either team, honestly. This was like an ugly game kind of to watch, especially past that first quarter. The first quarter, both teams were just draining shots like everywhere. Like both teams were like shooting like 60% from the field. But after that, the tired legs hit. Second night of a back-to-back for both teams, and it's pretty ugly, honestly. A lot of missed shots at the rim from the Chicago Bulls. Pretty bad. It's obvious that Kobe could benefit from a change of scenery, and his asking price is way too high at 30 to 35 mil. We need value. Kobe doesn't have the consistency. He doesn't. Yeah. Even when we thought Kobe might be like kind of getting back into form, he then has 2 straight games of just duds. And that 3-point percentage just plummets right back down, unfortunately. So, yeah, I unfortunately with Kobe, he like, I think Kobe, if you take what he like his overall skill set is, like with his dribbling package, his 3-point ability to either shoot off the dribble or catch and shoot, and his improvement in terms of finishing at the rim, which has improved in the years, right? I think if you take his package and if you just had him be consistent every freaking night, then like he is all-star caliber. The problem with Kobe throughout his entire career is just that he's not been consistent. He just hasn't been. The March of last season was great to see, but it's like I don't really buy much of that stock because we've seen Kobe even before that where he has like these stretches where it looks like he can hit anything, but then he has like these cold months where he's like bricking every three. This season obviously has been mostly a struggle for the entire season. The 3-point shot especially until like those 5 games in a row, but he's like back down to just being bad again. So it's really frustrating with him. And look, I appreciate what he's become because like I remember when we drafted him, like he had a lot of like, you know, mistakes in his game. Like he couldn't finish at the basket even though he was 6'5". His dribbling was very, very wild. He would get out of control all the time. And he's improved a lot. He's improved to being like, you know, a 20-point per game scorer, which we saw last season, which it did take a, you know, incredible march to do so, but we did see it. The problem is though, it's just that he's not as consistent as we would want him to be, right? If he was more consistent, then like, yeah, I'm looking at him like potentially like near like Tyrese Maxey territory, but obviously Maxey's having an insane year, so maybe it won't be like this year Tyrese Maxey, but maybe previous year's Tyrese Maxey. But he's not that, unfortunately. So it's just time. He's 25. I honestly, I mean, I know I said it last season, but like I didn't know if he could get much better. He got a little bit better overall, but it's just time to move on. I think it's all right. Yo, bad game. What's on Viper Strike? Yeah. This is like actually, I hope that some Bulls fans realize this. Like I was saying this when kind of recapping the game. This was a really bad game by the Bulls, like in all accounts. Like I thought this game was extremely winnable, and the Bulls would just find a way just to like throw it away at some point, and like you're just like, oh, like you know what, like here's a chance to get back into the game, and they just turn over or something like it. Or they miss a wide open 3-point shot, or they have a bad defensive possession, don't get back in transition defense. This is very winnable. And to see yet again another bad Kobe White game is like pretty disappointing. You know, Sticks going out doesn't help, but bad Vucevic game. There's no chance that man is getting traded as much as I want him to get traded. And bro, Patrick Williams is so terrible. I said it earlier, Viper Strike. And I know I was tweeting at you a little bit about this, but oh my god, Patrick Williams is so bad. You cannot convince me this man's a good player. There's Bulls fans trying to cope right now on Twitter that like, oh no, he's fine. God, you need help if you think that Patrick Williams is okay. He's not a good player. No. People is not a real basketball player. He's just not, bro. God, the things that I witnessed tonight from Patrick Williams, I am just like, oh my god. Like, there's like stuff I expect from Patrick Williams on a nightly basis. It's nothing great. I just expect him to at least like kind of stay within himself and not do something terrible constantly. Like, I understand we're gonna see like the dribble off the foot turnover every single game, or you know he's gonna, you know, he'll shoot threes. Like, I get that. We're probably gonna see a missed layup from him, but to see tonight, it was like a beyonds of just like, okay, like, bro, we know you're bad. This is like, you should not be in anywhere close to the NBA level of bad. I could not even, like, I always think that there's ways to impact a game, but somehow in 12 minutes, Patrick Williams was like absolutely just so atrocious that I can't even fathom how bad he was. Like today was so bad for Pat that he needs to like actually like pay a fine or something. Like he should just sit next game. Like Julian Phillips was more impactful than Patrick Williams, and Julian Phillips played 4 minutes. God. So unfortunately, Bulls fans, we are stuck with Patrick Williams from here on out. He is here through the end of that 5-year contract. He has a player option in the final year. We're stuck with him. So get used to him. Looks like a lot of people are using Spot Track, which is not shocking to see. as I'm trying to pull up Spotric here. So we gotta talk about trade stuff here. So once again, thank you guys for tuning into this stream. It's a very important stream overall. I do think, I think it's a big one to come into. We can talk about the Bulls loss, obviously, which I kind of recapped some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about already. But I have some also film, by the way, if we want to look at that later. I just showing Bulls' terrible defense, if we want to look at that. But I do think that tonight needs to be focused on the trade deadline here for the Bulls. We are a week away from the trade deadline. Actually, technically less than a week away. And I think the Bulls really need to make some very, very key decisions, not just for what they need to do for the rest of this season, but also to set themselves up properly for the offseason that's coming up here, okay? We're very much aware that the Bulls have a bunch of expiring contracts, but it is so important for the Bulls to properly do this deadline, or else, you might have all these expirings right now, but if you don't properly use them, or if you are knowing that you're not going to bring this player back, you need to do everything in your willpower to go ahead and trade them right now. I understand that, you might end up trading for some long-term salary in return, but if you're getting picks back, I think it is worth it overall in the end. But even if the Bulls do trade for some long-term salary, I still think the Bulls should have some cap space to work with here to go after some guys. And we're going to talk about some of those guys in tonight's stream, specifically some restricted free agents that I think the Bulls need to start looking at. This free agency class, there's unrestricted free agents, is not the best. But in terms of adding some players that can actually help boost this team immediately, that are still in their younger 20s, there are some restricted free agents that should be available in this upcoming offseason. And it is crucial that the Bulls play this trade deadline properly, okay? I think that, just to be clear, I think the Bulls can sell at this deadline and still be aggressive in free agency. I think it's very doable, okay? Just because the Bulls might add in some long-term salary this upcoming deadline, you have to understand that, let's say the Bulls do trade Coby White for Dorian Finney-Smith, right? You are adding $12 million to your salary cap books for next season, okay? But I have to remind people that Coby White, if let's say Coby White was still here, right, you would still have his $24.5 million cap hold on your salary books unless some decision was made from him, right? And if you're planning on bringing him back, you still don't have that cap space, okay? So getting a $12 million contract, honestly, if Coby White in return, it doesn't sound too bad, honestly, at least in my opinion, especially if you're getting a pick out of it. It still gives you plenty of flexibility heading into the offseason here. Honestly, maybe even more if we kind of look at the math. So I do think we need to talk about some trades tonight. Talk about the offseason especially, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on some of the ideas I'm going to be throwing out here tonight. Not even joking, it was that play from Patrick that made me stop watching. Oh, I don't blame you, man. When Pat had that drive and he airballed the freaking layup, and it's just oh god, I was genuinely, the play where he turned it over, I tweeted out, when Drew Smith pickpocketed him in the second quarter, I tweeted out that we got to take Patrick Williams off the floor because he was doing nothing in his first rotational stint. It was awful. And then he comes back in, and he in the freaking fourth quarter, he gets a rebound, his first rebound of the night in the fourth quarter. He decides to drive it down the lane, and he turns it over. Pat is just, I can't believe we're stuck with this man forever. I think the sobering part about today is that people say we are replicating the Pacers, but we're actually replicating the Heat, who are better, but even they're mid. I mean, even myself would say, as much as it'd be first and foremost, we're not replicating the Pacers. The Pacers are in a significantly better spot than we are and have significantly better players than we do. I do think that we are definitely closer to what the Heat maybe are trying to do here, but the Heat are in a much better situation to go after someone right now than we are, right? Bam is an actual all-star. I know he hasn't really played the best this season, but he's an actual all-star. It's unfortunate with Tyler Hero with how his season has gone, but he was an all-star last season, right? But I would argue that the Heat are you did say, Viper Strike, the Heat are still better. And they're still better now, but I would still say that, at least for now, this could change, okay? To be clear, as a guy that has been labeled the pessimist in Bulls Nation this season, I think that the Bulls can actually set themselves up here, pretty well if they do things right at this deadline. But we all know, is that actually going to happen? Time will tell. But if you had to bet on it, I would bet that you're probably going to bet on the no, right? But either way, I think for now the Heat are still in a better spot overall. Not just in terms of like they're the better team right now, but in terms of like they can go and like actually trade for someone big if they wanted to. The Bulls have some work to do before we can even start talking about that, but some work can get done here at this deadline. Okay, so let's get into it. I wanted to say this. If you hit the like button on the stream, helps me out a lot. I do appreciate all the support all season long. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the streams. Let's talk, okay? Now, as you can see here, people are doing trades as we speak. I want to see this actually happen. This will be fun if this does happen. Let's talk, okay? So, first and foremost, I want to be clear. We need to trade Kobe immediately. Bucks lost again, so that's good. We should make a run for him. Oh, very funny. No, that's not happening. To be clear about this whole situation with Giannis, there's people in the Bulls space that think the Bulls can actually like offer like a really good package for Giannis. And I'm already here to tell you, like, I completely disagree. I think teams like the Detroit Pistons, the Houston Rockets, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and others who are winning right now would not have to gut their roster, and they still have a better package than what the Bulls can offer for Giannis. Okay. Just an easy example here, okay? If you're the Houston Rockets, right, you can offer Amen Thompson, who is by far the most intriguing player on the Houston Rockets overall, or Houston Rockets like potential young players, right? Amen Thompson is arguably better than all of the Bulls players right now, and he is more potential than everybody on this Bulls roster, arguably. Him alone is already a more valuable asset than the Bulls can even offer. The Rockets have a ton of picks. They have more than just their, like, I don't even know if they have their own, but they have a lot of picks, honestly, right now. They have the Suns pick. They have Brooklyn Nets picks. Like, they have a lot of picks, okay? Not to mention then they can offer Tari Eason. They can offer Jabari Smith Jr. if they wanted to. I would assume that they're keeping Reed Shepherd for what I've seen, but they have a lot to offer. That's not trading Alperen Sengun or Kevin Durant, and they can go ahead and make that offer. I'm just going to say right now, the Rockets already, with just what I said, beat the Bulls in terms of what the Bulls can offer. Any deal to get Giannis here, it involves Montes Buzelis, okay? You're not going to get Giannis if you're not including Buzelis in that deal, okay? And so maybe the Bulls can gut their entire roster and make a decent deal where you're trading Giddey, Buzelis, Asenge, and every single first-round pick. Probably trading Io as well. Maybe that gets it done, but I mean, sorry, I don't even think that gets it done. That's not a better deal than what the Houston Rockets can offer. But you like, if let's say that does get it done, like, you don't have much of a roster left over, so it doesn't make any sense. Only way it happens is if Giannis points the Bulls in his wanted destination. Correct. That's the only way this is going to happen, okay? Because if Giannis says that I demand to go to the Chicago Bulls, then the Bucks lose their trade leverage. Therefore, you could then maybe pull an offer that isn't like trading like your entire freaking team over, okay? That's the only way it's going to happen. But as of right now, I mean, first and foremost, why would Giannis want to come here? I understand that people are like, oh, Giannis's family is like buying like a state like for $21 million in Chicago. Well, guess what? They've also bought a state in New York too. So that doesn't mean anything. They're just buying property for business purposes. I don't think Giannis wants to come here. It's not much of a better situation than the Bucks are in right now. So I personally am not going to see it. Those teams would be still good. Those picks are worthless. Well, the Bulls are supposed to be good, right? If they go and trade for Giannis, so like our picks aren't really that much better anyway. But again, like the Houston Rockets have like many picks. Like they have a ton of picks to work with right now. So we could go 26, 27, 28 unprotected of them Portland's as well. Okay, let me just be clear about what the Houston Rockets can offer, okay? Because, like, I don't know if people understand, like, because, like, look, Salty Solution, I know what you're saying, but I don't think people are aware of the Houston Rockets draft pick situation, okay? They have a Brooklyn Nets 2027 pick. Brooklyn Nets, okay? The team that is one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference in the entire NBA this season, okay? They have a Brooklyn Nets 2027 pick, okay? That pick is already more valuable than the entire Bulls picks, automatically, Okay, this pick is going in a Giannis deal, 100%. That pick is extremely valuable. All right, that is already more valuable than the entire Bulls like draft picks that they have available to them right now that they could trade. Okay, they have more picks on top of that they could go ahead and just send out. Hey, you know, Dallas, we'll see how good they are in 2029, but that's another team, right? But they have a ton of picks they can trade. They have more picks to trade than the Chicago Bulls can trade in their entirety right now, even if the Portland pick is going out, okay? That's what the Houston Rockets can offer. This is the reason why I'm saying to people that the Bulls don't have an actual offer to give for Giannis. If the Milwaukee Bucks are truly about, oh, we're going to trade Giannis, whoever gives us the best offer, the Houston Rockets have the Bulls dead to rights. There is no way that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to accept what the Bulls can offer if the Bulls trade their entire freaking house versus what the Houston Rockets have right now. Okay, this is the difference to me. Like, maybe you guys don't value this. I'd be very questioning why you wouldn't value this exact pick, but this pick alone is more valuable than any of the Bulls picks right now. Brooklyn Nets. We're talking about the Brooklyn Nets pick. Okay. Unprotected first round, right? Like, I would hope that we understand that the Brooklyn Nets are not a good team right now, and I don't really see them being good in 2027. Like, I just don't. But that's just my opinion. So again, I understand that, you know, Bulls fans are thinking, oh, we can send all of our picks that we can trade. We'll trade the Portland pick. We'll trade Buzelis. We'll trade Asenge. I get it. Like, it's a decent, all right offer, but I'm looking at Houston. I'm just like, well, they already have us dead to rights. Like, their draft assets are already significantly better than ours, which is the reason why I'm already so pissed off at AK, because if he just valued draft assets, which he should have been doing from the start, then there might be in a better situation right now. But that's not the case, right? Because this front office doesn't value draft assets, and according to some Bulls fans, that's okay. They're totally fine with that. This is why it's not okay. You should be valuing draft assets, because even if you don't value them, other teams do. The Brooklyn Nets 2027 first round pick, I'm sorry, that pick is insanely valuable. That's all I'm going to say. We gotta trade with the Sixers and get the Clippers 2028 unprotected pick then. Yeah, good luck getting that one. The Sixers are in love with that pick right now. You're not getting that pick. Yeah, that's what's going on right now. But meanwhile, though, let's talk an actual Bulls trade here that I do think is like genuinely possible, because I think the Bulls, unless you're actually getting Giannis at this deadline and you're not like clearing house to get him, there is no reason to buy right now. Genuinely, there is no reason for the Bulls to be buying at this deadline. It does them no good. It also then I think messes up their potential offseason plans that I think they should be pretty aggressive with. So let's talk about Kobe to Houston. Okay. Now, I've been trying to get in contact with Keith Smith, who runs Spot Track here. I'm gonna go ahead and send him a message about this trade tomorrow. But to me, at least, like what we've seen right now, just to be clear, like Dorian Finney-Smith for Kobe White straight up does not work, and I'm honestly very confused why it doesn't. Like, I know it's like, oh, like Houston's gonna be like over the first apron if this happens, but I swear to God that their calculation is off, or at least this thing is. It's either their calculation is incorrect, or let me show you what I'm talking about here. This number that is posted here is incorrect, which is this number. Okay. The Houston Rockets are first capped at the first apron. Like, that is, sorry, they are hard capped at the first apron. That is 100% true. But to me, it says right here, like, they have a $1.2 million in apron space available to them. So I'm honestly very confused why it says this, because like this is like incorrect. But either way though, we can move on from that sort of idea, and we'll just add in like Aaron Holiday here, for example, to help make this trade work. So money wise, this works out. Okay, money wise, this is a trade that I think is honestly being talked about as we speak right now. I think this is a very good decision for the Chicago Bulls. If Houston decides to throw in any sort of draft capital, I'm not entirely sure what exactly they're looking to throw in here. Again, this Brooklyn pick is not getting traded for Kobe White, but you know, a Houston 2027 top 8 protected pick or something like that, even if it is protected, I think it's a good decision for the Bulls to take it. Can I see this deal happening? Yeah, I do think this deal is a potential possibility. To be clear, DFS has been awful this season. He's been injured for most of the year, and when he has played, he has not played well. If you're wondering about his overall stats, DFS has not really been good. I don't know how he played tonight, assuming that he was available tonight, but it's been a rough go for him this season. As you can see here, he's played in 15 games. He's shooting 30% from the field. He's averaging 3 points per game. So, you know, I could honestly see a world where it's like, yeah, you could get like a protected first round pick for in this trade. You're getting two guys that really haven't really played the best and are, you know, not really playable right now, maybe. And you get a first round pick out of that. Like, the Bulls are taking some baggage in this. You are going to be taking DFS's salary for next season. That is something that will be on their books. As you can see here, he is on the books for $13.3 million. But you get a first round pick out of it. And I think this is honestly worth it. Reason why Houston would do this is just that they need guard help like desperately. Reed Shepherd has done nice for them, but they just desperately need guard help. Obviously no Fred VanVleet for the season, so this helps them go ahead and get like a combo guard in Kobe, who, yes, can be inconsistent, but he's not going to be asked to be the first or second option there, right? Arguably not even the third, because Amen Thompson's there. He's basically like the fourth option for them, and he might even come off the bench. So could Houston do this if they really want to upgrade, especially after that L to San Antonio the other night? And I'm going to assume they beat Atlanta tonight. I'd be shocked if they didn't. Yeah, I can see this honestly happening. And if the Bulls are offered this deal, I think they 100% should be accepting this trade. I am very much aware that a lot of Bulls fans are not understanding how expiring contracts really work. And we're seeing people talk about, well, if Desmond Bane got traded for like 4 first-round picks, then Kobe White should at least get you like 2. Hate to tell you, it's just that's just not going to happen. You're not going to get multiple first-round picks for a guy that's going to be an unrestricted free agent and cannot sign an extension immediately with this new team. Kobe's going to be looking for a bigger payday than the extension that can be offered. Therefore, you're not going to get multiple first-round picks out of this. I think you're even lucky to even get a first-round pick out of this deal. Because what I do think is probably a little bit more reasonable is you get 2 second-round picks or potentially 3 second-round picks out of this, okay? You'll get your own 2026 second-round pick back. As you know, the Bulls love trading for their picks back. That's something that they love doing. And you'll get some extra picks back or extra second-round picks as well. So if this was also the deal being sent to me, I wouldn't, like, if this is the best deal that I could get, Bulls should do it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. So let me know what you guys think. Send me some other options here. I'm gonna talk about Minnesota really quickly here, but let me know other options you want to tell me that I'm a horrible person in terms of making trades. Okay, sure, I'm here for that as well. But I'm gonna tell you why you're not gonna get much more value for that for Kobe than that, unfortunately. That's just how it goes. So next option here. So I have talked about this trade for a long time now. I think I've even talked about this since like November as like a potential possibility. So Timberwolves have been rumored to want Kobe White. It's been a long time since we've like first heard the start of this rumor, but this rumor's been going on forever. Okay. This to me was something that I was talking about on the Bulls on Top podcast. If you guys have not checked out the YouTube channel, like I've talked about this trade on that channel specifically. I've also brought it up on here. Okay. But this is what I would want for Kobe, is if I could get Berenger. And I know that, like, you know, a lot of Bulls fans aren't really exactly like thrilled with Berenger. His numbers overall, like box score numbers, don't look the best. But like, well, in terms of like overall, like what we're seeing from impact, in terms of like net rating and everything, his numbers are actually really good. But this to me is something that I've been talking about. Is like, okay, like it matters what the Timberwolves are really looking to do. Like, do they really value Berenger and think he's going to be like a big contributor next season? Like, I don't exactly know what exactly their plan is, like Rudy Gobert or something like that, but I doubt it. And so this is something I think the Bulls should be asking for. I think it's pretty reasonable. Conley's been pretty awful this year. Unfortunately, Father Time has hit Conley, and it's just, he's out of the starting lineup. He's not shooting efficiently. He's shooting 33% from the field overall. Like, it's just not going well for Conley. And so the Bulls would take Conley, they would waive him immediately. But you get Baron J out of this deal. Is this right now for what we're hearing as like, could this happen? Like, maybe. But what's more likely to happen is that you're probably gonna get Dillingham or Terrence Shannon Jr. instead out of it. And as much as that's gonna suck, like, again, if this is what you consider the best offer, is like Conley and Dillingham, and Minnesota throws in some second round picks also, if this is what you think is the best offer, okay, you can go ahead and accept this. But either way, I think doing this any sort of deal to get value for Coby White now is the proper decision. So again, if you're not getting a first round pick in any other deals and you think this is your best deal, you get Dillingham, right, who has not really played a lot in Minnesota, and 21-year-old on his second year of his contract, and who knows, like, he might turn into something. He is small, but we've seen small guards have success here. Okay. Again, if the Rockets are offering you that first round pick, even if it is protected, you should take it 100% over this sort of deal. So look for this. Maybe I think this is reasonable. It sucks. Like, I'm not thrilled with like the return, but hey, this is what happens when you don't trade Coby White last season, when you probably should have traded him instead. Coby to Dallas. Okay, let's talk about that trade. So I personally don't fully get why Dallas would be doing this sort of deal in the first place, because I feel like that this is kind of just a lost season for them at this point. But I do like what you're thinking though, like, because like they might honestly, the way that Dallas has been like trying to recover their fan base is like, okay, like, you know what, screw it, like we can make it like a play and run this season, and we might want to accelerate the Cooper Flag timeline, which is not honestly like a horrible decision by them. But I will say the one thing, unfortunately, when it comes to Dallas is like, I honestly don't know how exactly Coby's going to fully get there. I have some ideas, like, immediately, like the money, like for example, this would, like, I think work. Matters how close Dallas is to the first apron here, but I mean, I think, yeah, okay, money wise, this would work. Now, I don't think they're gonna give us Caleb Martin like right off the bat, unless they really think like Kobe's like that big of an upgrade for them. But honestly, Caleb's having a worse season than I thought. Okay, maybe they actually do. Okay, maybe this is actually doable. This might actually be doable here. D'Angelo Russell struggled this season. He's not been good at all. He's had a rough go. As you see here, he's shooting 40% from the field, under 30% from 3-point range, 10 points per game. Not a good year from Russell at all. So again, you're getting these guys in return just because of salary cap or salary matching purposes here. So I don't know. What do y'all think? I will say this: if I could get Jaden Hardy instead of D'Angelo Russell, I'm doing this trade. I do like Jaden Hardy a lot. And unfortunately, Dallas doesn't have much really to offer in terms of the draft capital front, but sure, throw in a second or something. Like, I do this deal, personally. I think this is honestly a fine deal. Jaden Hardy's a guy that I probably overvalue him a little bit too much, but I do like what he does bring. Here's his career numbers. He's been kind of like, I don't know, he's been kind of in and out of like the rotation when it comes to Jason Kidd, but like Hardy has some skill. Good, like decent 3-point shooter in terms of like off the dribble and catch and shoot. I will say though, like he is definitely just much more of like just a shooter and not really much of like a distributor. So he's like definitely more of a scoring guard. But obviously he's not playing a ton of minutes, so he's just kind of like a bit of like a spark plug if he's able to come in and play. So yeah, I could honestly get behind this if this is like the deal. We are taking Kill Money's money, which is not exactly like, that's not something I'm thrilled with, but let's see how much is like, I don't think it's too bad, honestly. Okay, yeah, like this isn't like too horrible. And maybe you can like get off Caleb Martin later. Honestly, that wouldn't be too bad. So yeah, honestly, Salty Solution, like I did not think a Coby to Dallas trade would have been in the cards, especially earlier in the year with what I was like seeing from Dallas. But with what is now being available, to us in terms of like, yeah, Russell kind of sucks, or maybe they're willing to trade Jaden Hardy, who knows. But like Caleb Martin definitely like being like available and his money helps make this deal possible. So yeah, I'm interested. I could get maybe behind this. If it's not, like, to be clear, if it's not Jaden Hardy coming back, then like I'm gonna be fighting for like a protected first. I doubt Dallas gives you their own this season, but like honestly, this is interesting. Like, could I like get this like OKC pick in 2028? Like, could that work? Honestly, which obviously you'd be getting D'Angelo Russell instead of Jaden Hardy in this sort of scenario here. So that this would be the trade. I'm gonna take away this second, but yeah, I'm not sure. Again, it's definitely gonna probably come down to like fighting for like these draft picks for the Bulls, and I understand the Bulls want a first. I get it. Like, to be clear, I get why, but I if the teams don't like come together and there's not like this big market for Kobe, you're gonna have to settle for some seconds. That should be the plan. So that is my Kobe White sort of just kind of run down. Any other ideas here? Because like I do think like Houston and Minnesota make a lot of sense, and they have like the contracts to kind of work out. Dallas is definitely interesting if they want to make a playoff push. I can definitely see them making like a little bit of a swing of this sort of deal. Like if they really like believe that Kyrie's like coming back or something, like maybe. I honestly don't really know like who else would be like kind of in the Kobe White sweepstakes. It does seem like a lot of Western Conference teams like really do want him though. I can't really see the Lakers really going after him. Obviously Luka's already there, but like Austin Reeves is going to come back soon, but like they need defensive help. Like that's the Lakers' main priority, and Kobe doesn't really help with that. I've already tried Denver, but like Peyton Watson's is like on an absolute tear recently, and so Denver's been able to hold up even without Jokic. So I honestly think like they're fine, and Peyton Watson's like development has like really saved them this year, and so like they don't need Kobe now because like Peyton Watson's like scoring well enough, is a much significantly better defender. Excuse me. Phoenix, that's definitely intriguing. San Antonio has too many guards already, so like I don't understand why they would trade for Kobe, but who knows. Phoenix is intriguing. It's like I honestly could see Kobe fitting in with Phoenix. I don't know. I mean, obviously the one that like jumps out immediately is like Royce O'Neal, but I don't think this is gonna work. Oh, it actually does work. Actually, okay. Man, the Phoenix Suns actually got so far below the first apron, and this is actually gonna work out. Now their draft assets though. This is a little bit rough here. Unfortunately, they're gonna have to keep some of these picks, right? So they can't trade this one. They can't trade this one, or they can't trade this one already. So, actually, could they trade? Yeah, they could, I guess, trade that one. But, no, actually, they can't trade that one. Oh boy! All right, great start. So, I don't know. Maybe something like this. It's not great. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm looking at here. Someone might have to like kind of update me in terms of like some of these minimum guys. Like I don't know who this is. Maybe, like I probably should, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get much else, unfortunately. Like I would love Ryan Dunn. That'd be cool. You're not getting him though. So maybe this is sort of an option. Let's see this season Royce O'Neal's having. Honestly, I think he's like been okay, but yeah, he's honestly been pretty solid. So I'm gonna make it a bet that they don't do this deal. If you're not trading Royce O'Neal, then I honestly don't know how the money works out. I don't want Grayson Allen here, if you're wondering. I would very much be displeased if we got Grayson Allen. Yeah, let's scrap this. I don't really see much of a deal forming out of this, unfortunately. It is crazy to see how well Phoenix has played this season. It has been a massive surprise, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna be trading with the Bulls for Kobe at any point here. All right, who, if you guys want to chime in here, who? Oh, actually, I have one more Kobe White trade. So I know Viper Strike has seen this trade. So I ran this trade, by the way, if you're wondering, because if you did see this deal beforehand, like I know like there's been some talk about it, but like so I ran this trade by my Orlando Magic friend, my best friend David. He said in his opinion that the Magic should accept this immediately, which is very interesting to me because I was looking at this sort of deal and I was just like, like, yeah, are the Bulls like kind of maybe screwing over the Magic, or like do we have to add in a second here because like we're basically trading two expirings, right? But in his opinion, the Magic should be accepting this deal immediately. So basically though, like I know that some people are like, what the hell is this? But basically the idea with this sort of deal, and maybe the Magic throw in something out like a draft pick or something, right? It's that the Bulls will get Patadze. And Patadze, he's right now, like, I think David even kind of said, like, he thinks that his time with Orlando is probably over right now because Mo Wagner is coming back for Orlando, and they have Wendell Carter Jr. starting at center already. And so Patadze's been their backup center all season long. He's done really well this season as backup center, but this trade would basically be trading Kobe White for Patadze to be our starting center of the future. Now I did ask David about like what he thought of Patadze. It's just like he's probably not starter caliber, so like this is definitely a bet in terms of like, oh, we're betting that Patadze is going to become like a starting level center, and it could happen. His block, like he immediately brings rim protection and rebounding to this team like automatically. Also good finishing around the rim. He's pretty efficient overall from the field. The problem is though, is that he offers no spacing. He moves really well as a big, good standing reach, but he just doesn't offer any spacing. That's the issue with Patadze. Like, he is basically just 6 and in as a player, shots inside the paint only, and it makes sense. Like that's where he should be most of the time. But yeah, unfortunately, he just doesn't offer any sort of spacing ability, and so like that there is then maybe like some concern about like, okay, like can he actually start? Like, can a guy that doesn't offer really any spacing actually start in the NBA right now? Because like I do think that having a center that can offer some spacing or offer some like dribbling ability is like kind of important. But who knows? But this would be the idea. Now, you know, we did kind of talk about like, oh, like do you want to like throw like Jet Howard or something in this sort of deal? And Jet Howard's a guy like I'm not really too high on, but like if I could, it'd be interesting. I just don't think it's going to be possible with the money like kind of being sent out for the Bulls here in Orlando. But who knows? Maybe it is a possibility. But I don't really know how else like we would get him, honestly. The only way, it's just like it would basically like this would have to like you'd add in Javon Carter for Jet Howard, but like I don't think this really works in the Magic's favor. But who knows? Maybe they'd be interested in this, but it's just an idea that's being thrown out. So, you guys have thoughts on this? Let me know. I would probably accept the Houston Rockets deal if they're offering that first round pick before this, but Patadze does intrigue me. Like he really does intrigue me as a player. And unfortunately, like, he is probably like just kind of get pushed out of Orlando right now. But here's his stats. Again, he's coming off the bench. He's only averaging 16 minutes per game, but he's shooting 67% from the field. He is averaging 1.2 blocks per game in 16 minutes. 5 rebounds in 16 minutes, right? Like he just immediately just brings in rebounding and shot blocking ability. So here's his per 36 numbers. I understand that per 36 is not perfect, but to kind of like draw his numbers over an entire game, 13 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 2.6 blocks per game, like that intrigues me. So that's just something that I think is worthwhile potentially for the Bulls. So that's another thought. All right, let's talk about other options here of what the Bulls could potentially do. And honestly, I might need your guys' help with this because like I don't really know exactly where the Bulls should be going after maybe trading Kobe. The next obvious guy is Io. However, like when it comes to Io DeSumo, I see two different situations at play here. The obvious decision, which I think is probably the right decision, is to trade him. I think it is probably the right decision to trade Io DeSumo right now. He's having the best season of his career. Obviously a very team-friendly deal. Yes, he's unrestricted free agent, but like there is like actually like a possibility that he can sign an extension with the team he's traded to. So like his value, I think honestly right now is probably higher than Kobe's. Honestly. But there's also then the option for the Bulls is that you extend Io and like he actually does accept the extension that you can offer him. That also like to me is like fine. Even if Io like gets like the most amount in his extension that the Bulls can offer him currently, like it doesn't eat into any of the cap space that I projected the Bulls to have. Because Io would have had a cap hold anyway of $14.5 million, and so that's already money that can't be used. And so if it's instead just Io has a new contract and is, you know, making $15 million a year, like that's fine. I think that's honestly a totally fine way to kind of deal with the DeSumo situation right now. However, again, I do think that the proper decision is probably to trade him. Now, Io, again, like, Io's just had such an insane year that I'm just like, I don't know. There's ways that I look at it with Io that I'm like, yeah, I think I want this guy around for forever because he's just been so good, especially recently, that I'm like, I mean, no matter what sort of iteration the Bulls have, like, he's just going to be a very solid player. And probably off the bench is his best role. But like again, $15 million off the bench is like totally fine. But I also understand if you want to sell high for the Bulls, that trading him now is probably the proper decision. So where would he go? I honestly, this is something that I'm not really too sure on when it comes to Io. But like the one trade that I have seen is to the Thunder. And it kind of does make sense when you kind of think about it, about like Io going to the Thunder. I know a lot of us have PTSD about the Caruso trade, but this is not exactly going to be that here. But the Thunder, like obviously, like SGA is the main guy. They have J-Dub as well. And to be clear, I'm not doing the Bleacher Report trade, but like I understand like the idea behind it overall. But like this is basically like the two players being exchanged. Like Ousmane Dieng is unfortunately not turned into anything, but he be coming back in this deal. And then obviously I think this is something that to kind of look at here for the Bulls. But like the Thunder have a lot of picks, and like they can kind of with liberty just kind of throw some picks out if they wanted to. And so if they want to give us like this Denver pick in 2027, like yeah, I think this is honestly something I'd consider. Now, the Bleacher Report trade had like 2 first-round picks going to the Bulls. To be clear, as much as I love Io DeSumo, if the Bulls are offered 2 first-round picks and like the protections like aren't ridiculous, you're taking that deal. 100% you take that deal, okay? So if the Bulls are offered this, which is what Bleacher Report said could be offered, then Io needs to be traded. Like as much as I love Io to death, this is a trade that has to happen. If this is actually possible, which I don't think it is, but the way that some people are kind of talking about the Thunder, it's just like, yeah, they're willing to make a deal like this. Like, okay, if this is actually the trade that's being offered, the Bulls need to accept this in a heartbeat. Like, accept it immediately, send it to the league office. Like, don't make the Thunder kind of rethink things. Accept this deal. I'd be utterly shocked if this is what is going to be offered to us, but hey, if it is, like, again, like, if there is a team to do it, it is the Thunder, who have a bunch of draft picks just to kind of offer. And so if they really want to make sure that they're going to get DeSumo and not have to, like, outbid others, then, hey, if it's 2 first-round picks, you are trading that man immediately. So, yeah, I think that's something that needs to be heavily considered. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, like, what other teams are fully interested in Io DeSumo right now. Like Minnesota also makes sense for Io. Like pairing him next to Edwards, like that also kind of makes a lot of sense. So like we can kind of look that over again, but it's a little bit more limited in terms of what the Bulls could maybe get back in return. But yeah, I mean, I know Houston also has been like talked about. Unfortunately, with Houston, let me just look at their roster again here. I honestly don't know how exactly they do this. Because Clint Capella is like now very, very, very important for them because Steven Adams is out for the season. So it's like I kind of like I would really want like Tari Eason, honestly. If I'm the Bulls, like could this be a possibility? Honestly, like maybe. It'd be pretty tough to kind of convince the Rockets to do this, but like the reason why I do this for the Bulls is because you're about to see here in my kind of off-season stuff, which I'm definitely taking some stuff from Ricky O'Donnell, so I'm going to give him his credit. But like Tari Eason is a guy that I think the Bulls should be targeting this next offseason. And so you just kind of get him early. You'll get his restricted free agency rights. And like, yeah, you are trading like free agent for free agent, but you're going to get restricted free agency rights to Tari Eason. Which you'll have a higher chance of keeping. So like if the Bulls are like heavily in on like Tari Eason this upcoming offseason, like you could just like trade for him now and like you have like a higher chance of retaining him moving forward. So just a thought. I wouldn't mind this, honestly. I would probably ask for the Rockets to throw in like a second rounder or something, but like give us their own second round pick back. But yeah, I can maybe see this working out. But honestly, what I'm hearing or at least what Brett Siegel has been kind of throwing out there recently for the Bulls, it seems like that the Bulls want to keep Io. Which again, I said like that's not the worst idea, honestly, for the Bulls. Like keeping Io is like not the worst idea. My only thing that I'm just gonna say is like, if you decide to keep Io, okay, then I'm gonna hope and beg that you don't let it get to unrestricted free agency with him. Like I understand that the Bulls like and Io like they could go in unrestricted free agency like and like they'll have like a backdoor conversation and like Io's coming back no matter what. But what I do think should instead happen is that if you decide to keep Io DeSumo, you need to offer that extension to him, which I've talked about. Like the most the Bulls can offer in his first year is $16.6 million. Now, if I was DeSumu's agent with the way that he's played, I think that potentially Io could get more. Like if a team thinks that he's a starting caliber shooting guard, they're going to be willing to pay him closer to $18 to $20 million a year. And so I would be recommending Io to go into unrestricted free agency. That would be my suggestion to if he was my client. But at the same time, if he's like worried about like maybe Io gets injured or Io just loves being in Chicago, which I don't blame him. I grew up here. That's hard money to turn down, right? You're basically turning down guaranteed, if they offer the 4-year, like you're turning down basically guaranteed $64 million, right? So I will say that just to be clear, like if the Bulls don't trade Io and then they don't offer him an extension, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off. Now if the Bulls don't trade Io and they do offer the extension and Io just turns it down, right? That's fine. I understand that. However, I would hope that these conversations are happening now. That if you're like really looking to try to retain Io and like you offer this extension now and he turns it down, then I do think that you should be heavily considering trading him then. If the Bulls don't offer him an extension until past his deadline, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off about it. That's not gonna sit well with me. If again they're trying to retain him. If they're trying to trade him, then they're trying to trade him. That's fine also. Like that's probably the best decision possible is that they decide to trade him. But again, if the Bulls do offer Io an extension and he just turns it down, we're probably not going to ever get word of it. So I'm just going to hope the Bulls actually do their due diligence with this sort of stuff. It probably won't get done properly, but I'm just going to hope they do the proper stuff if he doesn't get traded here. So again, I won't be as upset with whatever kind of like the Bulls decide to do unless they trade Io for like scraps. Then I'm going to be pretty pissed off about that. But yes, they gotta make a decision with Io here. Again, if they do decide to extend him, it's also not the worst case scenario because like you could just trade him later. I feel like $16.6 million is like still a very tradable contract, especially for the production he's giving this season. Like that's totally fine. Ideally it's about around $15 million per year. If it's not that, I get it, but just don't let it get to unrestricted free agency and there's like no decision being made. So who knows what AK's thinking when it comes to trades? We have no idea, obviously, but I'm giving you what I think the Bulls should be doing here. Okay. Now, let me be clear about something here, okay? Because I have been adamant that, like, yeah, I think the Bulls should be tanking this season. It's obviously too late to tank, right? And like, I'm not gonna be sitting here saying like, oh my god, like, I mean, like, there's like no, like, you know, this nothing really matters at all because the Bulls should be tanking anyway, and or whatever. Okay, like I understand like how first and foremost, like I understand that it does get annoying, but like first and foremost, it is true the Bulls should have been tanking this season. They really should have. But let's move on past that part because obviously they're not tanking this season and it's too late to tank anyway. If now the Bulls are truly trying to be better, okay? If we're now, you know, we're out of the tanking idea. If the Bulls are truly trying to be better as an organization, this is what I think they should be doing. So you can't go after me about like, oh, well, you know, you just want this team to tank. Right now, I am telling you the options that I think should be happening to help make this Bulls team better right now, okay? I'm not doing this to be like, oh, the Bulls to like, you know, make sure their record like plummets for the rest of the season. I'm not doing this for that, okay? I'm doing this to show because I'm going to show you guys what, you know, I'm going to steal some stuff from Ricky O'Donnell, what he said, but I'm also going to be showing you guys what I think they should be doing to help this team be better come in the offseason, okay? And it's to show you that, you know, yeah, I have my own thoughts. So yeah, the Bulls should be tanking, right? But let me show you what the Bulls can do to actually get themselves better right now. So that if the Bulls don't do these options that I'm about to lay out for you guys, and it just shows you that they're trying to win, but they're very clearly not putting in enough effort right now at all. Everybody that is anti-tank, and I'm going to show you these options. If you're anti-tank, you should be loving these options I'm going to be showing you right now. And if the Bulls don't put in the effort to try to actively go and get some of these guys, then I don't know what to tell these anti-tank Bulls fans, but it is absolutely looking horrific for you right now. Because you think that, like, oh, this Bulls team, like, you know, we're like a step away. Well, hey, we have a ton of expiring contracts right now, and if the Bulls don't trade Kobe, at least at bare minimum, they're doing something wrong automatically, just right off the bat. But if they don't keep their financial flexibility moving forward, unless they're like making like a massive deal or something that gets them a superstar right now, which not gonna happen, then I'm gonna have some issues. Okay. Other trade candidates, just really quickly before we move on to the offseason plan here. Jalen Smith, Trey Jones. Well, I know that they're both currently injured right now. I don't really know who would be interested in these two. Like Trey Jones again makes a lot of sense for Minnesota and Houston. I know we keep going back to that. Trey Jones also like kind of makes sense for LA. I just don't exactly know how he gets there. Honestly, like I it's a little bit tough. Like it'd have to be like Maxi Kleber or something like this, but will this even work? Okay, actually this does work. Okay. I don't think the Lakers do this, but like this would like kind of be the deal maybe. Trey Jones has 3 years or two years left in his deal, so like he's a little bit more valuable compared to Io or Kobe at the moment probably. But let me know any sort of ideas that you guys have for like the other options. Like yeah, Jalen Smith, obviously I think Jalen Smith as a backup big makes a lot of sense for any contender. Trey Jones obviously makes sense for any contender that needs guard help. But I'm gonna have to look into some more options for these guys as we move closer to the deadline here. I really want to focus on the Kobe trade because I showed 2 options today, or honestly 3, that have not been talked about before on this channel. At this point, I think Charlotte might pass the Bulls for 10. I actually think that they're going to. I think Charlotte has played so well recently, and their young core is like really looking good together. The Bulls continue just be terrible in certain moments, and so that alone enough, I think the Hornets are gonna. Honestly, I think the Hornets are gonna finish the season over 500. I won't be shocked if I see that. and I'll even take it as long as AK and Billy are here. Okay, right. So Woodage, right? If you're like, okay, AK and Billy are here, like they're never gonna tank. So like, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna show you what we can do. Like, to be clear, we can really actually make this team much better, but we have to do the right things, right? And so this is basically just to show you, like, if AK doesn't do these things, then like I genuinely have like no freaking argument to like even try to defend him as like, hey, like, you guys want this man to like actually build a competitive team. He's not doing anything right now. Like, he is genuinely not doing anything to help this team get better. So again, for like all the anti-tank people that just are like, no, like, you know, tanking never works, so you should always try to be competitive. Well, then this team should be trying to get better. And again, I'm just gonna show you some things that I'm like, hey, like these are some seriously good options, I think. If you don't do it, man, big problems, man. Problems the Bulls never do things that a lot of the anti-tank GMs and the NBA used to avoid to tank, like better scouting, better development, accumulating draft capital, which is obviously correct. Yeah, like you're 100% correct, Ryan. But this free agency has, like, they have a chance to actually be very, very impactful in this, and like make some very, very impactful moves this free agency. So this is not, you know, asking for draft capital or you know, trying to like flip assets or anything. This is just straight up like, no, this is you just spending some money within your salary cap. Like, this is not you spending extra money. This is you spending just the money that you have to spend to just get to the salary floor. They should be doing this, I think. And if they don't, then I'm really going to be giving it to the anti-tank people as like, listen, y'all, like, we had a chance to like actually make some big splashes and not happening. So I'm just putting that out there because like I know a lot of people are going to be looking at me as like, oh, well, like, this is your idea of like how we should be tanking or rebuilding. We don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, let me show you what the Bulls should be doing then if you're not going to be about the rebuild. Let me show you what they should be doing. And if AK doesn't do this, I mean, I've been telling you he's bad, but like, if people are blindly just believing in him still, like, you have no argument at this point. Bulls haven't had a good collection of drafting well since Paxton's run from 03 to 08. I agree with that. Yeah. Have talks with the Pelicans gone quiet? Was that never a realistic option? Unfortunately, Thomas Banks, I do not think that was a realistic option. I think Zion is completely off the table. The Pelicans, like, I've been kind of adamant about this. Like, the Pelicans honestly have like no reason to trade him for like scraps. And if I'm the Bulls, I'm not trading like 3 first-round picks for Zion. There's no way. So, you know, I think the Pelicans they're just gonna keep him, which is fine. Ege doesn't draft well and Billy doesn't coach well, so no taking would be a bad idea. All right. If this is what if this is what it's about, right? If we're like, okay, like we don't want to see a tank because, you know, that this front office can't draft and Billy Donovan obviously can't develop guys. Well, let me show you some stuff. Okay, let me go ahead and show you what exactly we should be looking at this upcoming offseason because holy shit, I think there's some big opportunities for the Bulls to actually really upgrade. Assuming that they actually keep their cap space. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my cap spreadsheet here for the Chicago Bulls when it comes to their current situation and also for the next offseason. Okay, so to be clear, okay, when it comes to my sort of like plans, and I'm gonna credit Ricky O'Donnell on some of these ideas that I'm gonna throw out here in terms of free agency stuff. Okay, actually I should not be opening Twitter on live on stream because who knows what's gonna pop up on the Twitter feed. But what I'm about to go ahead and tell you guys is some pretty big overall options in free agency for the Bulls, and it's a lot. Like, I was listening to his podcast. It's called Cash Consider, or not. It's not his, but he was on the Cash Considerations podcast recently, and he brought up some good ideas that I want to go ahead and reiterate to you guys. So this is a lot of these free agency ideas is to him, but I also have my own thoughts when it comes to this sort of stuff. So let's go ahead and just relook at what the exact salary situation the Bulls are in right now. Okay. So, again, this is for this season. This is for next season, okay, and also for the offseason that's gonna be coming up here, okay. So, I've already been adamant we need to trade Kobe, right? Like, Kobe needs to be gone, and with him being gone, right, then this cap hold also goes away. Okay. Now, to be clear already with what I am looking at this current moment in time, okay, this is my calculation of the Bulls' salary cap situation before, like, this is what the cap holds and everything like that, but, like, we're looking at this number, right? Which I understand, it's just like, well, like, how does it, like, add up so fast? But, like, these two guys are basically 50 million, right? And you add in you just keep adding in money, right? And then you get your situation, basically. So this is a number, all right? Salary cap is $166 million, but if the Bulls were to head into the offseason doing nothing, okay, because of Kobe White's cap holds and Adesumu's cap holds, if the Bulls got rid of those cap holds, they would have more cap space. But as long as these cap holds are hanging around and they're like, oh, we're going to try to re-sign these guys, and the Bulls would only have $35 million in cap space. That is my calculations, okay? If you're questioning this at all, okay, now, Spot Track's a little bit different when it comes to this sort of stuff, and like how they kind of show it, but it's a little bit difficult to kind of see. But pretty much, though, it's like, it's basically like, oh, you have a bunch of like total cap allocations and everything like that. But active cap is $86 million. Just to kind of show you exactly what I'm looking at, if I remove these contracts, okay, and this is not including the first round pick that the Bulls should have this upcoming draft, right? Do the math, right? If I remove the cap holds and only kept the active players on this roster, add in the first round pick the Bulls are going to have, 91 million, basically, you know, again, take $5 million away from this, you get $86 million, okay? So as you see, the calculations are correct, all right? So if that is the case, though, where the Bulls decide not to bring back Ayo Dosunmu or Kobe and decide to go into the offseason with a completely clean cap sheet, they could have $74 million, at least to my estimations, okay, of salary cap space. Now, I will also say this, this contract also could just be wiped away, because it is an exception, and you can sign this contract like over the salary cap anyway, okay? But this is what I'm looking at, okay? So at most 80 million. If you're not trading anyone else, it's 80 million. Now, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna put this back on the books for now. And I talked about the Dorian Finney-Smith trade, right? Which I think is like a legit option right now for the Bulls. But Dorian Finney-Smith, if the Bulls went ahead and traded Kobe White for Dorian Finney-Smith and Aaron Holiday, who again, we would not keep Aaron Holiday after this season. But to just go ahead and get the proper numbers in place here, DFS is going to be making $13.335 million for next season, okay? And so, again, this is just a placeholder for now. Again, we're trading Kobe away. We're getting DFS. We'll take in his contract for next season. His last year of his contract is completely non-guaranteed. So we are not on the books for this money for the 2027-28 season, okay? But with that being said, if let's say that is the move that we do, the Bulls, and this is also assuming that you don't bring back Ayo, you would have $60 million, okay? If we do bring back Ayo, and let's just say it's $15 million, and like we signed into extension, we're looking at $45 million in cap space right now, okay? That's pretty decent. Like, that's honestly like a pretty decent idea or amount, and we can go ahead and have some decent ideas to go ahead and look at. It's like, okay, who are some options that we can go ahead and get this upcoming offseason with this salary cap space? Again, I've already said that I think that the unrestricted free agency market is not going to exactly be the best for us. You know, like I'm assuming you're not going to be like, I mean, we'll see what these guys do, but like you're not bringing back Levine even if he declines his player option. Harden, McCollum, Middleton, all too old. Isaiah Hartenstein is a good option, honestly. I know that's someone that I would love to get. I seriously doubt you're going to be able to get him though, unfortunately. Yeah, this is like basically the unrestricted free agency market though. It's not exactly the best kind of free agency class, unfortunately. But when we go to restricted free agency, there is a lot of options here. I don't know why Yegor Joman is here. Spot Track has some issues, but ignore that. Focus on the players that have 4 years of experience here, because that's gonna be the most important. But there are two guys, and this is specifically from Ricky O'Donnell. There are two guys to be looking out for. One we've already talked about is Tari Eason, okay? And we already know, like, the Houston Rockets and their current spending situation, like, they might actually not be able to match any sort of offer that is given to Tari. So the Bulls, in Tari Eason's restricted free agency, can go ahead and offer him a lot of money, okay? And he immediately becomes the small forward, or if you want to consider him the power forward and mount as a small forward, whatever. But he would come in and immediately be the small forward for this team. And he offers solid defense, and this season he's having like the most insane shooting season ever. It probably won't stay like this moving forward, but this is an option, okay? This seriously upgrades your defense, it upgrades your size, and it also upgrades potentially your offensive scoring abilities. I understand that it's like, okay, well, like, you know, you traded Kobe away, and like Easton's not really like much of a scorer, but he's come off the bench most of his career, and he's put up pretty solid numbers in these last two seasons, and honestly even like this year when he was injured was like pretty solid overall as well. So you're kind of taking a bet here as like, all right, can we go ahead and like get more out of this guy? He's like a full-time starter, 30 plus minutes per game. Can we get him up to like 18 points per game? Who knows, right? The other guy, and then this is the guy that I'm like a little bit like trying to figure out exactly where he is, because like I can't tell if he's really just having like a magnet ball right now or if this is like truly legit. But like Peyton Watson has had like a insane season for the Denver Nuggets. He has truly developed into like this insanely good, like consistent, like at least like 15 point per game score, but he's like having an insane run recently in January. Okay. And he's a 6'8" forward who is also very solid defensively. But just to show you guys what he's been doing recently, like, I mean, again, like the Nuggets don't have Jokic, so like he's done like a hell of a job, but like this is his January. And it's just insane numbers, like 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 49% shooting, 45% from 3-point range. It is honestly just insanely good from Peyton Watson, who, yeah, like they needed this help. Like Denver, again, doesn't have Jokic, and they needed any help that they could get. But he would come in again and it would just slide in, and we already know what Denver's situation is with their, or maybe you guys don't, but Denver, I mean, like, I don't know how the hell they're gonna be able to afford him. Like they're already kind of stacked up in terms of what they have already. Like, I mean, Jokic and Murray are over 50 million each. Gordon, Cam Johnson over 20 million each, including Christian Brown, who they just paid. Like I don't know how the hell they're gonna be able to do it, because they're already like, where are they here? Like they're at the first apron right now, but it's gonna be tough for them moving forward. But this is a guy, I mean, especially if you want to like maybe believe in this. I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more scouting when it comes to him, but like you might actually, if like let's say this scoring is like legit, or like it hovers around 18 points per game, you replace Kobe's scoring and got a significantly better defender and overall player in this sort of situation, okay? I know a lot of people are like freaking out about like, oh, we're losing Kobe's scoring, and yeah, the Bulls are gonna miss Kobe's like overall ability, like his ball handling ability and his dribble penetration when he is traded. But I think that to make sure that you don't have his cap hold on the books, and you're not just losing him for nothing, but you still have some cap space to work with, like you could throw $30 million to Peyton Watson, and I think you're going to get him, honestly. So these are legit options. Like automatically, this upgrades your starting lineup in this team immediately with either of these two players, I think. And this is from Ricky O'Donnell for what he said, is like these are the ideas that Hugh is like throwing out there. Is like, yeah, I mean, they're not obviously like, you know, 19 or 20 year olds. It's like they have like maybe some like pretty good potential, but these are some, again, younger side of 20 guys, right? In the younger side of their 20s, and you know, they have some scoring potential in them, but they're automatically gonna seriously upgrade this defense, which has been honestly bottom 5 for like most of this season immediately, right? Both of them are already significantly better than Isaac Okoro as a player. Okay. And I think that there's even more potential with some of these guys is like to potentially pop and bring some serious value on the offensive end as well. Okay. They're bigger than Isaac Okoro. They're better defenders than Isaac Okoro. They get more stocks than Isaac Okoro immediately. Okay. You're already upgrading that position no matter what. Right. And so this is one of those options. It's just like, hey, here are options for the Chicago Bulls to use their salary cap space that they have and target some guys that still have some maybe potential left in them, but you're not, targeting like old vets at all. You're targeting guys that are going to fit in with these current players that you've labeled your core. And it should help right now. Immediately. This should help you immediately if you get one of these two guys. Personally, like, I'm all for it. Like, you need, if you're going to be spending your free agency money this way and you actively go ahead and make these aggressive moves, which you should be doing, should work out well for you. Okay? This is actively getting your team better and taking advantage of other teams' salary cap situation where the Nuggets are probably not gonna be able to pay Peyton Watson for how good of a season he's having. Okay, like they cannot afford, unless they're gonna trade like Christian Brown for nothing. They cannot afford to pay Peyton Watson as with all the rest of their contracts that they have on their roster, right? And if you think that Peyton Watson can like truly come in and be like a 18, 20 point per game scorer and bring his defense that he's already significantly better than a lot of Bulls defenders is already on this current roster, right? Like, that's what we're looking at. So these are just options, right, that I think are available to this Bulls team this upcoming offseason. And there's, if you're not necessarily looking at like, oh, like, we're fine maybe like at the 4 position because we have Buzelis, we have Asenge, right? There's obviously options then when it comes to the center position, okay? Now, Ricky O'Donnell talked about Mark Williams. I'm a little bit more skeptical when it comes to Mark Williams, but I can understand maybe where we're coming from, okay? I know that Jalen Duren is like the obvious guy, but there's no way in hell the Pistons are giving him up. The Pistons are 100% going to pay Jalen Duren a full max, even if some team offers it to him. Walker Kessler is someone that a lot of Bulls fans, a lot of Bulls fans talk about him as like, yeah, we like that guy. So there's just options, but there's another guy that Viper Strike has talked about with me, and it is kind of interesting, honestly, because like he's having kind of an underrated season. Like, I know the numbers don't exactly look the best, but when it comes to if you guys know who Mamu is from the Toronto Raptors, where exactly? Am I stupid? Hold on. Raptor. There he is. So, Sandro Mamu, I'm just going to call him that for now, because I unfortunately I still haven't figured out his last name. I've heard many pronunciations. But he's actually having like a pretty solid season overall. Okay. So here's his numbers for the season. Again, he's not fully starting, right? But he's coming off the bench, and here's his numbers in 22 minutes per game. Very efficient, can shoot the 3-point shots. Not exact. I don't think he really does really the best rim protection, but like anything's better than Vucevic at this point. Solid rebounder though in his minutes, but like he's like an actual like an offensive like threat at the center position. And so like I've talked about like when it comes to Patadze, right? I know a lot of people with Patadze they kind of like balk at like, oh, he's not going to be like an offensive threat though. He'll give you the rebounding and the shot blocking, but he's just not an offensive threat, right? But with Mamu, like he's like an actual like offensive like player. Like he can actually like be like an offensive like give you some offensive punch, can space the floor, and can like pass it like pretty decently for a big guy. He kind of is like in a sense like a little bit like sort of like Vooch, and I understand like I know that kind of freaks people out, but like the big issue with Vucevic is obviously like his defensive like inabilities, right? We kind of balk at just the fact that this man doesn't move his feet well and stuff like that. But like Mamu's better in terms of moving his feet and Obviously more efficient because like he's very clearly making his interior shots when Vooch can't right now. He's better defensively and also I would argue a better rebounder. So this is also just someone to keep an eye on. He has a player option, okay? And like to me, like I mean, I'd be shocked if he accepts his player option because like he can go into free agency. The Raptors do not have bird rights on him, and he'll get a lot more money than $2.8 million. I can promise you that. This is someone to just kind of keep an eye on and maybe start scouting a little bit if you're interested in like upgrades. But like again, this is like 26-year-old, so he's like not like that much older, but he can bring some win now help to this team. So. Just something just to look at as like potential options for the Bulls this upcoming offseason, okay? I'm not here to be like it's gonna fix this team to become like an actual contender in like a year, okay? That's not gonna happen. You still need to develop internally. Buzelis' development, Asenge's development, and obviously whoever we're gonna be drafting this upcoming offseason. All their development is extremely important for this team to actually become again like a contention level contention level team. But in terms of actually making this team better like in the immediate future, and I'm not like freaking out over the fact that I'm watching like a terrible core with no defense on the floor at all try to figure it out, and like they're just trying to like gaslight us into thinking, yeah, Giddey, Kobe, and Buzelis, like these three guys can lead us into our next winning contending level Bulls team. Like I won't be thinking that, at least, right? I actually have Peyton Watson potentially, or Tari Eason potentially, someone that's a 6'7", 6'8" wing good defender that can also play on the offensive end and not be a net negative, right? I have someone maybe at the center position that's going to be a better rim protector, or someone that's younger than Vucevic and gives an offensive spark, okay? These are options. Like these are like genuine options with this money that the Bulls can go ahead and do if they're not going to take, which we know that they won't, but it's to use your salary cap space to actually help move this team forward with their overall status, okay? Getting a Peyton Watson and he actually like comes in and like he averages like 16 points per game, still good defense, solid 3-point shooter, that pushes you along into being a better team, okay? That immediately, even if he like doesn't average 22 points per game or whatever he is doing in January right now, like just having him and him being a solid starting small forward that can play both ends and not be a net negative on either end, and offer more scoring punch would 100% move this team forward. It would help move this team into being better now. Okay, and it's again, you're not getting like an older guy that's gonna like fizzle out in like a year or so. You're getting a guy that is gonna be 23 years old when he hits restricted free agency. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys know that there are options available. Okay, like. If the Bulls truly do not do anything at this deadline, and then they don't do anything in the offseason, everybody that I'm looking at, especially the anti-tankers, you have no argument at all to tell me that what AK is doing is fine, okay? Because AK wants this team to be competitive. Well, if he doesn't go and do shit during this offseason, then there is nothing you can tell me that, like, oh yeah, AK is like actually like doing okay. Because still there are Bulls fans right now that think that where the Bulls are currently placed right now, they're totally fine. They're in a totally fine spot, and that they don't need to go ahead and add any more upgrades. They, you know, if we can go ahead and get maybe like a player or so, that's nice. But like, we just need to continue drafting, and we're still gonna be in a good spot. But then there's the Bulls fans that tell me that, oh no, like, you know, this season's okay. But we got to go ahead and spend some money in the offseason to help make this team better. Well, I've given you options right now, and Ricky O'Donnell especially has given you a lot of options that are like legitimate options for the Bulls this upcoming offseason, okay? Even if they don't have like $60 million in cap space, which who knows if they will, right? But even if you have like $40 million in cap space, Peyton Watson, Tari Eason, both are legitimate options you can get, even in restricted free agency, because of where their current incumbent teams are financially. If I can recognize that, or Ricky O'Donnell can recognize that there are options available like this because of the team's financial situations, then I'm going to hope to God the man that's getting paid millions of dollars every single season and is in charge of making basketball personnel decisions also understands and sees these sort of options available to him, okay? But if I see this Bulls team do nothing at this trade deadline and nothing in the fucking offseason, okay, then It is truly 100% doomsday when it comes to the Chicago Bulls. There is nothing you can do and convince me at all to be like, yeah, we're fine. No. Because the anti-tankers are going to try to convince me that, oh yeah, we're going to keep building and like we'll be just fine. No, we're heading, if we do nothing this upcoming offseason, we're heading to another about 500 record. That's not making this team better, okay? We're not moving along. We're not going to be any sort of better team that's going to be anywhere close to contention moving forward, okay? You need to add to this team because the biggest issue right now is defensively, this team still sucks. And if you don't add any defenders to this team in the offseason, holy shit, man. I have a lot of questions. And, I mean, we should already be having these questions right now, but I have a hell of a lot more questions if AK's like, yeah, we don't need any more defense this offseason. We're fine. Was not committed to winning? I mean, I don't think they are, but, you know, some people are trying to convince themselves that they are. And I'm like, okay, well, if they are, then here are some options, right? I think AK is just waiting on this team to either win or lose, so he could say that he planned it all along. So here's my fear, okay? The Bulls have lost 3 straight in a row now. Remember when we beat the Boston Celtics and we were over 500 on Derrick Rose night? And so many Bulls fans were like, see, we love this team. This team is not the same as the Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic era. This is a young team that is over 500, and we're moving in the right direction. And then we went ahead and lost 3 straight to the Lakers, so I said we should beat the Lakers. I legit on this channel said we should beat the Lakers, and we didn't. We made the Lakers' terrible defense honestly look pretty solid because our defense is worse. We then lost to the worst team in the NBA at the time, in the Indiana Pacers, who have won 3 straight games against us, and we are responsible for 25% of their wins on the season, right? And then we lost to the Miami Heat tonight, who do not have Tyler Hero, who did not play a good game at all tonight, but we still lost. It was a pretty awful game. So we've lost 3 straight since, you know, all these Bulls fans that were cheering for the, you know, over 500 record, which, by the way, we were still the 9th seed when we were over 500 after beating Boston, okay? It's nothing special. We were still the 9th seed, and guess where we are now? We're the 10th seed. So, like, sorry to break it to y'all that if you're like, oh yeah, we're all in on this team moving forward. Well, this team hasn't done jack shit, okay? This team is still exactly where we all thought they were going to be, which is about 500, and guess what? We're now 2 games under, right? I am very much fearful, though, that because of this Giddey injury that just came out today, Trey Jones has obviously been out, and he's not going to come back at least for another week here. Jalen Smith also just went out today. And Zach Collins, obviously, we're not going to see him for like the rest of the season, honestly, at this point. But I actually do think that AK is going to use these injuries as an excuse to not do anything at this deadline. Okay? I've already laid out to you guys that, like, I don't really care what you guys really think. Like, should the Bulls be tanking? Should the Bulls be, like, actually looking to win? Okay? Well, no matter what, like, trying to buy what their current situation is right now, where you're the 10 seed, 2 games under 500, have not beaten the Pacers at all this entire season, like, you cannot convince me at any sort of situation right now that it is a good decision for the Bulls to buy, okay? Like, there is no way in hell I think that buying, unless it's for Giannis somehow, you're not giving up the entire house for him, is a good decision at this deadline for the Bulls, okay? And the reason why is what I showed you is that I think that you can sell at this deadline and then try to get this team significantly better heading into the offseason, okay? And use the offseason to get this team better. But the only way you're going to do this, though, is if you sell at this deadline. You need to go ahead and sell Kobe White off now, and potentially Ayo, potentially Jalen Smith, and others, okay? If you can trade Vooch, awesome. If you can trade Kevin Huerter, awesome. You're not going to get many offers for those guys, honestly, probably, but again, sell what you can when it comes to this team. But then you can go ahead and go into the offseason with some salary cap space and potentially more assets to work with to potentially trade, right? And go ahead and try to make this team better. That's what I'm looking at right now. But a lot of Bulls fans are like, no, we should be buying. Like, there is nothing that you can try to tell me right now is like a good decision to buy with this current roster to try to make this team just try to get this a 6 seed, which that continues just to get farther and farther away as we continue going through these games. It also doesn't help that Miami also won tonight. So like you're now 2.5 games behind the 7 seed here. You're 3.5 games behind Philly. Okay. I know a lot of Bulls fans are talking about, oh my god, the Bulls are like 4 games out of like the 3 seed or whatever the hell it was. Like, yeah, about that. So, like, buying right now, what I think even Charlotte's going to pass you. Milwaukee's going to trade Giannis. We'll see where he goes. It might not be until the offseason here, but I think Charlotte's going to pass you, honestly. So it's about either you beating Atlanta into the play-in or Miami or Orlando. But either way, buying makes no damn sense, especially if you're going to spend your first round pick, which you're going to desperately need this upcoming offseason. Buying this season makes no sense, okay? It generally doesn't make any sort of sense at all. And this is even for the people that are anti-tank. I think you need to sell at this deadline if you really want this team to actually go and try to win, because to me, it's the only way it's going to help this team win moving forward. If you buy this deadline and you keep Kobe and you keep all these guys, like, you're risking a ton of stuff, but you're also then expending assets that you're going to need moving forward to help try to get this team better in the future. But you instead spent it on a deadline and potentially for 2.5 months. Okay, there's no reason to do those moves. Instead, let's take a step back. This upcoming deadline, let's go ahead and sell off Kobe at the very minimum and sell anybody else that we can. Okay. Take a step back, get some assets, okay, and make sure we retain our free agents or our cap space for free agency. And let's go ahead and see what we can do in free agency and try to actually go after some guys that I think you can get in restricted free agency. I think it's a legit thing to go ahead and look at. I think it seems like the guy that has to be right all the time. Oh, for sure. I think it's been kind of even reported that AK thinks that everything that he thinks is like right, and then if you have any sort of disagreements with it, speaking to Peter Patton, I haven't spoken to him, but like what we saw with the Peter Patton firing, it seems like that he was kind of against what AK was all about, therefore he just gets canned. Yeah, I do think that AK is just all about, like, it's just him and only him. You don't have to trade for space, you trade for assets. So I completely agree with that, personal freedom. Like, I think that the Bulls should be prioritizing assets only. Like, if the Bulls have to take on a bunch of like shit contracts, but I get like 5 first-round picks out of it, that should be the priority, in my opinion. Like, that's like, for the people that are like, oh, well, you want the tank, like, what would you want? That's what I would want. Like, I would want to take back bad contracts and take in a bunch of first-round picks. That's what I would want. Because that, to me, is the proper thing to do when it comes to this deadline, is that I go out and try to get as many first-round picks as I can, or second-round picks as I can, or young players as I can. Right? Like, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not really caring too much about the salary cap space, but for a team that, if you're anti-tank and you want this team to be better next season, then you're going to need a salary cap space heading into the offseason, in my opinion. So, unless you're making like a big swing trade right now, you're not giving up too many of your assets, like, you're going to need a salary cap space, because that's where you can make the biggest moves. So, I better see it. Yeah, Kevin wants to believe that his way is right, and the only way he doesn't truly know what his way is, yeah. Easton is unhealthy as hell, so that is definitely a risk, right? I do think that Tari Easton, unfortunately, including this season, has not been very healthy. The last 3 years, he's missed a lot of games, honestly. So that is a risk, which is the reason why I do think that Peyton Watson is honestly like a better kind of bet. And I actually think that you have a higher chance of getting him, or there's a higher chance I think the Nuggets do not pay Peyton Watson and match any offer being sent to him versus the Houston Rockets matching Tari Easton's offer. Like, I think the Houston Rockets might have the ability to match that offer for Tari Easton, but who knows? We'll see. I think though with Peyton Watson, I think he's like kind of just gone. So that's my opinion. As long as I get a good defender, I'll be happy. Right. I mean, I think getting Peyton Watson would be a humongous boost to this team's defense automatically. The 3 Bulls I really want gone are the same 3 Bulls we had in the bubble: Kobe, Vucevic, and P. Will. So, Thomas Banks, I mean, I don't know if you were here earlier at all when I was shitting on P. Will for tonight's game. P. Will was awful. There is no way you're trading Patrick Williams. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to people, but like, Patrick Williams is stuck here forever. Or at least until that contract runs out. Look, I'll take a bag of chips for Vucevic at this point. I understand that like he's actually like had like an alright season, but contenders are not going to be looking for him at all. like he's a center that's gonna want to start, but like he doesn't bring any defense, and he's gonna want the ball in his hands a little bit, but like there's just better options in terms of offense, right? So, I mean, like I'll trade Vooch for some seconds, like, or just anything at this point, but will it happen? Probably not. He just doesn't have much value at all, which just sucks. But that at least he's expiring, right? Bulls should offer Vooch for Anthony Simons straight up through the first round pick. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that that's not gonna get even that. Like Anthony Simons for Nikola Vucevic does not get accepted by the Boston Celtics. I would accept that immediately. If the Boston Celtics offered me Anthony Simons for Nikola Vucevic straight up, and I'm aware that Simons is like on an expiring right now, but like if that was offered to me straight up, I am running Vucevic to the airport. Okay, like there is no way in hell the Boston Celtics are accepting that deal because Boston is going to use Simons as like potential trade to help upgrade. Okay, the whole point, or maybe I'm wrong about Simons' contract. Am I wrong? Like people were talking about like, oh, this will like help save Boston some money, which is like, yeah, like I know it'll help save them money this season, but I don't think Boston really cares about their money situation, honestly. Yeah, he's like, so yeah, it would help save Boston like some luxury tax stuff this season, but I don't think that really matters. They're the 2 seed. Like I'm not gonna just trade Anthony Simons if I'm Boston, who has actually helped them a lot this season off the bench, just to lower my tax bill. If I'm trading Anthony Simons, like, I mean, if I'm Brad Stevens, at least, just to be clear, like, I'm already planning on staying in, like, the luxury tax, and if I'm going to trade Simons, then I'm looking for an upgrade for my team. Someone that can be an upgrade for the team, even for next season when Tatum arrives back, right? When Tatum comes back from his Achilles tear. I don't know. Personally, for me, Thomas Banks, I mean, I don't know how you view it, but like, if I could get Anthony Simons for Nikola Vucevic right now, I would do it. I know that whole like trade offer got sent out, like released as like, yeah, the Bulls tried to offer Vooch for Anthony Simons in a first. Like, I mean, at least they tried, but like, there's no way that deal was getting accepted. You could take away that first round pick that Boston's sending to Chicago, and that deal's still not getting accepted, at least in my opinion. Like, to be clear, I think Nemias Queta has been better than Vucevic this season, and he's on a minimum. Like, Luka Garza has been, like, totally fine for Boston this season. Like, they don't need Vucevic over there, in my opinion. Vucevic be packed into a 3-way trade as someone else's dead contract in order to facilitate to trade a 3-way deal. I mean, I think anything is possible, especially with, like, about $20 million that Vucevic is making. The problem is, though, is like you have to understand, like there's gonna be someone in the end taking Vucevic's contract for the season, right? They're gonna want some sort of compensation for taking on a guy that no one else wants, right? It's possible. I'm never gonna say it's not possible to pull off something like that. Yeah, it could happen, but I think trading Vuce alone by himself is already hard enough. A 3-way deal makes it just infinitely harder. But it could happen. It definitely could happen where like there's like some major like shifting going around with Giannis now with his trade offer being, you know, announced. Like if Giannis gets traded somewhere, someone has to like move some money, and they want to get some contracts off the books for future seasons and they'll take it expiring. Yeah, it could happen. You just trade Vuce over there instead, and the Bulls will take on some money, and hopefully in that sort of scenario, then the Bulls should be getting some draft compensation in return if we're taking on some bad contracts, right? But again, I don't really see where that's going to happen, unfortunately. I think the odds of it are very, very low. And if AK is already pretty stingy on some shit, like, I mean, I don't have much faith in finding a Vucevic trade at this point. How many teams do you think will be involved in a Giannis trade? I personally think it's probably just gonna be a straight up deal. Like I've talked about already in this stream, but just I know some people are tuning in a little bit later. But like for example, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but like for Houston, okay, like the Houston Rockets have a better offer than the Chicago Bulls can offer at all just to be clear. Okay, like, and you're not trading Kevin Durant or Alperen Sengun. Like, you actually have like a really solid offer that you can give to the Bucks. But it would be Amen Thompson. Actually, yeah, okay. I do think Fred VanVleet would have to be part of this deal. Jabari Smith Jr. and Tari Eason. And then Houston has the Brooklyn Nets 2027 first round pick unprotected. So this pick like is extremely valuable, which is already like it already makes the trade better than the Bulls. Than what the Bulls can offer. So actually, let's offer the Phoenix pick, and then I don't know, just something like this. I think is like kind of what I'm looking at. Like, let's see, about $8 more to make up here. All right, actually, let's see here. 1 million actually. Oh yeah, I forgot. Thanasis has to go. I always forget about this. He also has to go to Houston. Let's see. And then, ooh, actually, this is a little bit rough here. Actually, yeah, there might actually have to be a 3-team deal when it comes to this sort of stuff here. But something along these lines. I think you can figure this out money wise. Honestly, all right, hold on. I just want to see. Would this work? This does not work. Let's. I don't know how do they view Clint Capella at this point. I think they would keep Reed Shepherd just because it's like it would make sense, but like Clint Capella would make this work. Like this would work. And honestly, I think this is you do this. The problem is that Steven Adams is no longer available for this season. That does suck. But like, yeah, I can even throw in Jabari Smith Jr. in this, and I think this still works. On update, yeah, like this would work. So I think personally it's just gonna be like it's probably just be like a 1-for-1, or sorry, like just 2 teams. But yeah, I mean maybe other teams get involved. I think though if it's gonna be like 3 or more teams involved in this trade, it's gonna have to they have to start talking about it now because like there's gonna be teams that are gonna be still holding their assets in case like a Giannis trade does happen, and so like they're gonna have to like start kind of like notifying teams like, hey, like this deal is agreed upon, like start thinking about some other ideas for you or something like that, and then like a 3-team trade could happen. But yeah, I think it's honestly just gonna be like just 2-team deal. Like I think Houston has a great offer. If Atlanta like actually truly wanted to do this, like I mean I think Atlanta has like an insanely good offer as well. Like Atlanta has like they can offer Risa Shea, and like you know if they want some other young guys as well, they could also offer those guys too if necessarily, like, you know, for example like Dyson Daniels or like Newell. But Atlanta has that New Orleans pick this season, right? Like this New Orleans pick is gonna be probably top 6. So once again, this pick, like these teams that are better or at par level with the Bulls right now, they have better draft assets than us at this moment in time, and they have like their picks still. So like, you know, they could also send Milwaukee's pick in 2027 back if Milwaukee's gonna be bad that year after they traded Giannis. Like that pick becomes extremely important to Milwaukee suddenly. Like I don't know. I'm just throwing out these sort of ideas, but like to me, this is the reason why it's probably just gonna be like an even deal. And then you'll just add in. Well, unfortunately, this can't be aggregated yet, but yeah, this would be it or something like that. Wait, did it reset? Why did? Oh, my bad. Sure. Let's just throw in Porzingis instead. Like to me, like again, I think this is just better than what the Bulls can offer. Oh, this is too much actually. Whoops. There you go. Yeah, like just Risa Shea plus then like the New Orleans pick and Milwaukee's own pick back. Like it's just Like, it's already better than the Bulls. It's just automatically better. Like, people think that the Bulls have a chance here. I'm like, no, we don't. Like, I think Atlanta is already in a better spot than we are for the future, by the way. San Antonio, if they wanted him, like, San Antonio obviously has, like, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and also some picks that they can offer as well. Which I know is intriguing. Now, Minnesota, I will say I'm not entirely sure. Like, I mean, obviously, Jaden McDaniels has to be part of this deal. Oh, sorry, I actually hit the Bulls. Whoops. Well, I mean, yeah, you're basically you're teaming up Anthony Edwards and Giannis, which sounds insane. You're gonna keep Gobert, by the way. But it would basically be Randall and McDaniels, and then what's Minnesota's draft situation? It's not the best, honestly. This is not the greatest, but like, yeah, they're gonna have to like offer like these guys as well or something. I don't think he goes to Minnesota. I don't see the Bucks accepting any of these trades, honestly. Or this trade from any trade from the Timberwolves. Feel like a third team might try to pick up Kuzma in that deal. I could actually see that. Yeah, like maybe a third team like just gets Kuzma, because he has a lot of money. Portis also. Bobby Portis is also making like a decent amount of money, so like he could also be part of a trade. I could definitely see that. Atlanta getting ready to trade made them better. No one wants a small, high volume shooter anymore. Yeah, Trey, specifically for this season, like with just how badly like his decision making was, like they're definitely better without him moving forward. And I actually think that they're just like, I know they've kind of gone through a little bit of a rough stretch recently. But I do think that they're gonna be like overall positive for the rest of the season, even if they don't make a move. But it's just like Atlanta just got better without having Trae Young there for now. I don't exactly know what the Wizards are gonna do. I don't fully understand the idea, but hey, they got Trae Young for basically like nothing, right? And so yeah, sure, take a chance. I know that people talk about Golden State with the Bucks. I'm trying to figure out like a reasoning. Like the only way I think again this like actually does work out is like Giannis, like, you know, I want to go play with Steph Curry, right? It's like I've always talked about it as like Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga going, but like I think you have to keep Draymond now with Jimmy Butler being out. So like it would have to be this. I don't know how the hell the money would work here. I guess you actually have to send Kuzma, but it's something along these lines. I don't know how exactly it would work, but yeah, we'll throw in Pajimski, sure, why not? Yeah, it'll be like something along this, and then like Golden State's like they have like every one of their picks, so it would be like this pretty much. This will be the offer. It's not a bad offer. I mean, like you get Kuminga, you get Pajimski, you get the entire Warriors draft when Curry's retired. Like, not bad. I don't think they can really offer too much else though. Like I guess like I mean Will Richards actually be like a really important player for them this season, so like I don't think they're going to offer him. If they want Trace Jackson Davis, sure. Thanasis has to go, as we all said before. Like Thanasis has to go with Giannis, like that's necessary. I won't lie, I don't know if this even makes the Warriors of like a full-out contender. Like Curry and Giannis sounds insane, but like the supporting cast, like it still needs help. But it's an idea. Wizards are just stripping down to the studs, and hey, I think what the Wizards are overall doing, like with all the decisions that they made recently, it makes a lot of sense. Like I think what the Wizards have done recently they've done a really good job. The Trae Young trade doesn't fully make sense to me, but again, they got Trae Young for basically nothing, right? Like they weren't gonna keep McCollum, and they're probably gonna trade Kispert anyway. So you got Trae Young for basically nothing. Like, yeah, I mean, sure. But like the way that the Wizards have dealt with their situation, like they got rid of Beal immediately. They got rid of other contracts. The Jordan Poole trade for McCollum was a great deal for them. And they're drafting, right? Like Alex Sarr is looking really solid. I will say like Koulibaly doesn't look too good. Like I know like Carrington is a good 3-point shooter, not really much else though. Like they have a ways to go. Trey Johnson looks pretty solid this season. I've been pleased with what I've seen with him this year. They have a ways to go, but like I do like what they're planning on right now. Like they're they're obviously, you know, they're gonna hope to get a top draft pick this season, but they have some young pieces and their salary books look really good. Like I'm liking where they're going. Also, I don't know if Pods has that much value that he means much in Giannis trade. Probably not. Pods has been definitely disappointing this season, but I'm just throwing out like what the Warriors could offer here, which is again the reason why I'm saying that like I think Houston like has a legit shot. Like right now, Houston, at least from what I've been seeing, like because like I watched that Spurs and Rockets game. Like Houston's not even better than the Spurs right now. I didn't expect that this season, but like Houston's not better than the Spurs. And we know the Spurs are only just gonna get better. Like Stephon Castle, Wembanyama, Dylan Harper, these guys are only just gonna get better. Like if you're not better than the Spurs now, then like I don't know when you're gonna be better than them, unless like Amen Thompson like actually like pops or something. So like I'm actually like kind of concerned for Houston because like Durant's just getting older. Like your time with him is limited. Now I understand that this man could like honestly he might honestly be like, you know, what in his 40s still averaging 20 something points per game on like great efficiency. I get it, but they're gonna have to like really, I think, excel their timeline here. Because I'm actually concerned for Houston right now. Like I really did think that it was gonna be like it was gonna be OKC, Denver, and Houston. But the Spurs right now look like the third or the second best team in the West, and Denver is still ahead of Houston, and they haven't had Jokic for a long time. Like that's the part that I'm just like I don't know what exactly they're planning on doing. Like it's the part that's concerning for me. So yeah, I'm concerned honestly. Like I mean, they're obviously, you know, they're a contender for sure. Like anything can happen in the playoffs, but like for what I've seen, I'm like, like I don't think you're better than the San Antonio Spurs right now. Like I need to see something better from them before I can like feel comfortable about them being the Spurs. I feel like the Hornets could jump ahead of the Bulls in the standings. Is it Zoa? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. I agree with you. You're not the only person that has said that in this chat tonight. Many people have said that they think the Hornets are going to pass the Bulls, and I'm in full-out agreement. The Hornets they beat Dallas tonight, but they've had an incredible January. Their young core, it looks really solid together. The numbers look good with them on the floor together, even with LaMelo, by the way. But yeah, Brandon Miller, Con Knipple, like these guys look really solid right now. They're doing good. And I do think that the Hornets are going to pass the Bulls. Even if the Bulls don't do anything and they don't properly treat the deadline as they should, I think the Hornets are still going to pass the Bulls. I just don't know how the Bulls are like. The Bulls are going to probably still make the play-in tournament. It just matters who they're going to beat in. They have a chance to make up some ground against Miami here. They lost the first game though, which I thought was the most winnable game. So I don't exactly know how they're going to make up some ground here against Miami, but there's a chance. They play on 2 games in a row here, so they can get a game against them. But even if they only won 1 game, right, then you still lost that game to them in the standings. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, ideally the Bulls don't make the play-in tournament. Like that would be my ideal scenario. But I know a lot of people are not a fan of that. To me, it just sounds like better draft odds. That's the way I look at it. But I know a lot of people want to try for the 7 or 6 seed, which is just like, good luck. This preseason, I picked the Hornets as a sneaky play-in team. They're better than people realize. Yeah, man, I was definitely not on the Hornets train in December. Like, I was very much like anti-Hornets. I was just like, I mean, LaMelo doesn't look the best. Like, Brandon Miller is having some issues, like a little bit. Like, Knipple looked great. But I was like, I don't know, but I will say Charles Lee is like a really solid coach, and I do think that the Hornets, I suppose what I've seen with January, like it looks sustainable, better defense from them, and the core's meshing together really well. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but like if this is what the Bulls claim is their core, the Hornets core is significantly better than theirs right now, and they're all younger than the Bulls' current core except for Buzelis. And if you want to throw a Senga in there, I guess, but Senga hasn't played, right? So The Hornets core is looking significantly better than the Bulls core right now, and they're all younger except for LaMelo. Ugh. Houston might end up golfing Cancun earlier than we might guess. I mean, I'd hate to see that. Like, they should still win in the first round. Like, if they're facing the Lakers, they should still win that. But with what I've just been seeing recently, they've had some, like, tough L's. Like, they went through, like a bit of a rough stretch. But they've gone back on track. But it's just, like, that Spurs game just, like, it shocked me. I was just, like, the Rockets can't score in that fourth quarter against them. Like, they just couldn't score. And that's with Durant and Şengün all healthy and everything. Like, the Rockets against their conference, they're 16-15. They're basically a 500 team against the West. That's not good. Like, I mean, just compare it to the rest of the Western Conference teams. Like, that's worse than Minnesota, and they're the 6th seed. That's worse than Phoenix, and Phoenix is a 7th seed. Like, Houston against their own conference has not been good. They've just been average. The Lakers, as we've been shitting on them, like, even myself has been kind of shitting on them. It's just like we expect them to kind of fall off here. Like, no matter what, still, like, they're still better in their own conference than the Houston Rockets have been. They're not a better record right now, but it's basically par, right? Like, you're basically par right now. So yeah, I really do think Houston's gonna have to make a big move. Like, I know a lot of Houston fans are calling for Kobe, like, on Twitter right now. Like, they're calling, like, they want Kobe now, because they're seeing that without a guard on the floor for them is, like, it's really hurting the team. Amen Thompson got the Ben Simmons treatment in that Spurs game, like, heavily. It was insane to watch. Like, they were just like, yeah, go ahead. Like, if you shoot that shot, we are very happy. And it just allowed, like, Wembanyama just to kind of play free safety. Like, there were possessions where they would, like, intentionally put Wembanyama on Thompson, and they just knew, like, okay, well, Thompson's not gonna shoot it, so, like, Wemby just gets to, like, help off of him the entire time. And it's just like, yeah, all right, if it gets to you, shoot it. We dare you to make it. And Wemby went on to have, like, an insane night. After, like, having, like, some foul trouble earlier in the game. Like, it just was like, oh god, like, it just opened my eyes. It was just like, oh, I've underestimated this Spurs team this entire year. Like, what they've done against OKC has been tremendous. They're 3-1 against OKC this season. They're second in the West right now. Wembanyama, like, if he was just healthy the entire season, would be an actual MVP candidate. Probably still wouldn't beat Shea, but, like, he would definitely be up there. And it's just like, it just, again, it's like, we've seen Houston and Denver go at it, and, like, that does seem, like, you know, pretty, like, evenly matched. But what I just saw with this game here, like, Houston had a big lead early in the game, and then this happened here. I was just like, oh my god. Like, ugh. It really makes me just, like, I don't feel the best for them. Reed Shepherd also was getting cooked by Dylan Harper. And unfortunately for Reed Shepherd, as, like, you know, he's had, like, a decent year, like, it's just lack of size. Like, lack of size does hurt, and Kobe at least does give you that. Like, Kobe, like, he doesn't have, like, the biggest wingspan or, like, the best athleticism, but at least he's, like, 6'5", or probably 6'4", but still he's bigger than Reed Shepherd, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, should just they're just like, yeah, shoot, let this man shoot it. Like, he's not gonna take him. Like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. Losing Steven Adams, though, is, like, a big hit to them. Obviously, no Fred VanVleet for the entire year, but yeah, they're gonna have to make some decisions, I think, because this team, again, like, this team has, like, all the internal development in the world that they can just rely upon. This team, like, Jabari Smith Jr., I don't think is gonna get much better, honestly. Tari Eason could. He just has to stay healthy. And then, like, they're depending on this guy who's, like, I mean, Thompson's taking, like, a big leap this year. He's averaging 18 points per game. The problem is just that he just can't shoot threes. So you're in now year 3 of Thompson. Like, he is not a better shooter than he was in his rookie season. Like, what are we looking at then as, like, his overall ceiling? That 3-point shot has to come around at some point. Like, he is truly getting the Ben Simmons treatment right now. which can still be effective. We saw Ben Simmons be effective. It's just that it's not going to be what they thought it could be at the end of the day. Ultra trade for Misi or Baron J with two of our other bigs injured. It's painful watching Vooch is the only big out there. I completely agree. So I hope I'm saying that right. But like it is definitely painful to watch Vooch out there constantly. But so like I have talked about Misi before. I don't love the idea of it, but like I can kind of get behind it. Like it's not really something I'm looking forward to because like it does feel like the Bulls are buying, which I don't think they really should. Like the only way I talked about this, like the only way I can kind of see where it's not really like a buy is like it's like this I'm about to show you, and I don't love this deal, but it's basically like the Bulls get DeJounte Murray, and they're basically taking on his, you know, he tore his Achilles, so they're just taking on his money, and then like basically the Pelicans like sweeten the deal with Misi, and so like you get Misi, right? But unfortunately, you gotta take on DeJounte Murray and his $30 million. Don't love that idea at all. Like I think this is like a legit possibility. I hate it. Like if you could like call the Pelicans right now and be like, hey, we'll take DeJounte Murray and Misi and we'll give you 2 expirings. Like they're probably like, yeah, great. Like sure, let's sign me up. Like I would hate this. And again, like Zion's off the table. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, they're all off the table right now. So you're not getting anyone else that, you know, like Trey Murphy is like intriguing for sure, but like you're not getting him, unfortunately. Yeah, so I don't really know how the Bulls really do get Misi without like either spending an asset, like a first round pick or something, or taking on like DeJounte Murray's bad contract, or just basically dead weight money right now because he's injured. Don't get me wrong, I love DeJounte, but I don't want him on this team. He's 30 years old now and he's coming off an Achilles tear. Like, I respect Vooch, but also I think it's time to move on unless he takes a massive discount. It is definitely a 1,000,000% time to move on. What he did against the Lakers, like his like bickering with the officials and not paying attention to what's happening on the floor, I'm just done with him, honestly. I don't even want him like as a backup either. I respect what he's done. He's been very healthy for the Bulls. He's had like 2 like pretty solid years for the Bulls. This is not one of those years, unfortunately. But he's also had some pretty horrible years for the Bulls. This year's like okay, but like first full year with the Bulls, dreadful. Next year was like pretty solid year. The year after that, though, shot 29% from 3-point range. Horrible. Last season, though, was good from Vooch. It was a very solid year from Vucevic. This season, though, is not that. Less efficient, less points per game, less effective. Obviously, no defense. So, yeah, it's just time to move on. 100%. Bay isn't off the table. I wasn't told about Bay. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, maybe Saddiq Bey is off the table, honestly. I'll have to double check that report that came out. But I don't think Saddiq Bey is off the table. I think he should be available. I wouldn't really want him, though. Like, how old is he? He's like 26. Like, yeah. Let's see here. I cannot find a tweet, so I'm gonna have to figure out what exactly are guys that are untouchable for the Pelicans. Yeah, I see Zion. There's just this one tweet that I'm seeing. It's like Zion, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones are considered untouchable, but then it's just like, well, there's no way they're trading Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen either. So, but yeah, I think Saddiq Bey should be available. Okay, let's see. Can I convince myself that Saddiq Bey trade is like worth it? Like he's like an okay player. He just like I'd rather go after guys in restricted free agency instead of Saddiq Bey, personally. He's not making too much money though. Solid year. He does take some shots that like I'm not thrilled with, I'll say. Like he does take some shots that are like a little bit like, it's a little happy trigger, but sure. Here, no blocks, but he does get steals. So yeah, he has not recorded a block yet this season. 2-point percentage is not good. That's definitely below league average. This is okay. 16 points per game is like, okay, let me see if I can figure out something to work out here. Like, New Orleans definitely wants like something of like for future value. Bay is a sniper who can fit at small forward role if you have Montes at the 4 spot, another 15 point per game scorer. My only thing though is like he's not really a sniper. Like he's shooting 34% from 3-point range, and his entire career he's shooting 35%. Like that's not a sniper. That's below league average. He does take a lot. Like I mean, five threes per game on like 12 overall field goal attempts. Like yeah, that's a significant amount. But it's not really sniper level, I would say. Pretty good rebounder though for his overall size. Like that's pretty. All right, I didn't. He's 6'8". I thought he was 6'6". Okay, my bad. Okay, yeah, decent rebounder. Get some steals and like yeah, like he could like average 16 points per game. It's not that efficient though. This efficiency is not the best. So, like this is not great efficiency overall. It's mostly the 3-point shot. It's kind of hitting him a little bit here, but yeah, it's not the worst move in the world for the Bulls. God, okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure this out. So like, how can I convince New Orleans? Like, yeah, this is like worth a trade. Like, I'll give you Kevin Huerter because he's expiring money. You'll get Sadiq Bey's money off of your books. But somehow we also get Messi in this deal. I'm probably asking for too much at that point. Like, there's just no way that's possible. I mean, you're probably sending a first in this then, right? Like, okay, here's Kevin Huerter. We want Messi. And like, I'm not trading Buzas, I'm not trading Asenge, obviously, and like, I'm not gonna trade Kobe and Ayo in this sort of deal because they could get better value in return if I trade them in separate deals. So like, I don't know. Maybe they'll take a flyer on Julian Phillips or something. And 10 million, so like you take back Kevon Looney, which like I don't think it's a club option. Like I don't know. This is tough, honestly. So, like, I don't think I could just like send Kevin Huerter their way and they'll be like okay with it. Fortunately. You prefer Montes at the 3? See, it's so interesting that like we keep like people have a big disagreement about this. So like, it's just like offense. I think Montes is like more 3. In terms of defense, though, I think Montes is definitely more of a 4. And I mean that in terms of like, I think Montes is more of like a shot blocker for his defensive value versus like an on-ball like wing defender that I usually would have at the 3. But I know it's very subjective for people. But yeah, for me, I think overall like Montes at the 4 seems the best spot. But I understand that there's still a big debate about it. I was want a draft pick. I personally don't think this is worth a draft pick, but I understand that that's what it would take. Okay, so then like for example, like I don't know what the Pelicans would honestly want like Kevin Huerter. Like I feel like it's just like a nuisance on their roster then at this point. So let's do this instead. Let's see if I can figure out a trade here. Like Messi is not making much. Like basically the way that I could do this honestly is like I do this. I use the traded player exception for Sadiq Bey, and then Yeah, like I send Phillips out, and then like this should still work. Yeah, like this would be the deal. Plus, then the Bulls throw in a pick. This to me is not worth it. Like I am not like there is no way. I don't know why this is still says this, by the way, but like there is no way in hell. To me, this is worth it for the Bulls. Like I don't think this helps you that much, and I'd rather the pick, honestly. I don't know why the Portland pick doesn't show up on here, but like it would basically be that. Even then, though, it's just like I think I'd still just keep the Portland pick. Honestly, like I'm like being dead serious right now. Like I'd still probably just keep the Portland pick. Now I understand though that I'm coming from a spot where I'm like, no, I want this team to rebuild. So like, I don't think sending picks out for these two guys makes any sense at all. For people though that are very much like you don't want to tank it all, like you're probably much more liberal about these picks. So just like, yeah, I'll send out a pick for a 16 point per game score, which again, I don't think Saddiq Bey is going to average 16 points per game here. He's also not a sniper from 3-point range. Yeah, he can be like a scorer, but yeah. And then it's like you're hoping like Misi's like your center in the future, who's not had that good of a year. Misi's kind of struggled this season, so I don't know. I feel like it's not fully helping you in like the win now. It says like you're hoping Saddiq Bey like continues like this stretch, or like how he's played like right now, and hopefully he gets more efficient. Is like this is not really the best efficiency, and then you're hoping Misi turns it around or something. Like you're not the kind of way I feel like on Misi, unfortunately. Like he's not really had the best year, but it's his second season, so like you know it can be you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Here's his numbers for this season: 20 minutes per game, 6 points, like. A little bit less, and then obviously less rebounds, but less minutes. So, Okoro on a draft pick for Bey, Misi, and Carlo. Bulls are stuck, but this might be the best deal out there for them right now. With Billy's great coaching, who doesn't want to play for the Bulls? Yeah, with Billy's great coaching, man, I'm sure everyone loves Billy Donovan's great coaching. Oof, who doesn't? Sorry, I meant to hit reset. So you're saying... I don't know why they would want Okoro, though. I honestly don't. I don't know why they would want Okoro, honestly. But sure. So... Who else did you put in, Carlo? And again, I don't know. Like this, it's your own pick, I guess. They're throwing in. I hate it personally. I think the pick's worth more. I honestly don't know if Pelicans would even accept this. Would the Pelicans accept this? Like, if it was just Saddiq Bey and Carlo. Like, yeah, they're accepting this deal. But if it's also Misi, I don't know how they would exactly value this. Would they take it if it's just one first-round pick plus Misi? I mean, Carlo's been decent for them this year. He's had moments, I should say. I guess I shouldn't say decent, but he's had moments for them. You're giving up team control for these two guys. And then Saddiq Bey is like a trade option, I guess. Wait, is this? Oh God, man. Okay. You know what? I think they actually would accept this deal. Yeah, you know what? I think they would take this. Because looking at their cap situation is hell. Oh my God. They have $198 million committed for next season already. Actually, Yeah, Cora money is not great for them, honestly, because they don't want more money on the books. But unfortunately, I don't know how else I would be able to get this deal done. Like, it would like actually be like Kobe, and it's just like, well, that's like a terrible deal for the Bulls. Because you're trading up first and Kobe, like no shot. Like this is, I don't think this doesn't work. I don't know. Yeah. Club option though. This would have to be the deal, I guess. I mean, the problem is that the Bulls can't fit everyone on this roster immediately. Like they're gonna have to like waive a bunch of guys off their current roster. You can waive Looney immediately. That makes sense. But then you still need to waive 2 spots just to open up enough roster spots for the other 2 coming in, which you're gonna value these other 2. I don't know. Like, let's just throw in Julian Phillips into this deal. Just it's like, would this fuck it up? Oh, honestly, okay. This helps. Then you're only waiving 1 guy, which means that like you would have to like waive Javon Carter, I guess. It would be a lot of dead money on the books for this season. Like, it would be like, what would that be like? It'd be like $14 million, $15 million of dead money on the books. If you waive both Kevon Looney and Javon Carter, but like, yeah, maybe you actually be able to send Looney somewhere else before you have to just waive him. Like, you could just send him somewhere else. So sure. And in terms for me personally, I'm not doing this deal. Even if I'm like trying to make this team better, I'm not doing this deal because it eats into the salary cap space for guys like Tari Eason and Peyton Watson. So I think that this is a better option for the Bulls and going after these guys in the offseason versus doing this trade and then also spending your first round pick on this deal. I think it's a better option to just go and be aggressive in the offseason and in free agency versus doing that sort of deal. But that's just my personal opinion at the end of the day. I appreciate though, Woodage, your recommendation or trade proposal. These are good that you've been offering. It does make me think. It definitely does make me think for a second. Like, like, could I see that this actually works out for the Bulls? Sure. Could I see AK doing this sort of deal? Like, even myself, that's like a guy that knows that AK's trying to like say that he's winning now. I don't even think that he even does this deal. I'm wrong. Again, I think the better option is just to keep your cap space and just go after this guy. In free agency, but yeah, that's my opinion at the end of the day. I also just like, I mean, maybe it's like, I don't know, like you send like your 2028 pick instead. Can I get behind that maybe a little bit more? Maybe. If instead of you sending out your 2026 pick, you send out your 2028 pick. Maybe. It's like, at least in my opinion, I don't think New Orleans is gonna accept this deal if it's the Portland pick. I think New Orleans wants one of your own picks if it's gonna be this. I'll sleep on this one, Woodage. Yeah, you are making me really think about this. I'll definitely sleep on this one. I'll keep it in mind moving forward. So, go ahead and close out this stream again. I am just very adamant about the reason why I'm very adamant about like this stream is like important, and you know, when I raise my voice in this stream, like I want to be very clear to everybody. Like the Bulls have the ability to go ahead and actually, if they're not going to tank, right, and they're trying to make this team better, they have the ability to do so. They very much do. There is very much potential here to make this team better, which is the reason why I'm like showing you guys these options as like, look, man, if they actually don't go ahead and like actually try to make this team like significantly better next season, and again, they're not going to tank, right? And they're going to be like, no, we're going to try to be competitive and make the playoffs. And like, I don't see like actual improvement to the roster. Like the anti-tankers have no argument at this point. Like what this Bulls front office is doing is a horrific job. The AK truthers that I'm shocked that are still around at this point in time. Like, you guys can go and find a troll that is like in almost every single Bulls content creator's replies on Twitter. I can promise you can go and find that person, and you can find them pretty quickly. But these people like truly believe that what AK is doing is fine. Like what AK is doing with his plans is great. Like we're in a great spot right now. I'm like, no, we're not. Like we're not in a good spot right now. Like what AK and this front office can do is make this team significantly better in the offseason, for sure. They have the financial flexibility to 100% go ahead and be more effective in the offseason right now. Again, if they just truly just do not go out there and do anything, like holy shit, like it is truly doomsday. There is just truly nothing that you can tell me at this point. It's just like, no, we are in eternal absolute hell, and there is no way out of it until AK is fired, because he is not trying to make this team better, clearly, and he's not tanking, so he just continues just to roll around and just keep going through the seasons and hoping for like a 4% hit on a lottery pick or something. Or like you jump in the draft lottery, like a 1.5% chance of jumping up. Like I just honestly don't know. And here's the thing, honestly, when it comes to the 2027 draft, like when people are looking at it right now, it's like it's really not worth tanking for. So watch the Bulls get some lottery luck, not in this upcoming draft, but then in the drafts that like are not the best. And so like I guess like, see, look, I did it, guys. We got a top overall pick. It's what you guys have been wanting me to do, even though we were the 10 seed for like the third year in the fucking row. We got the lottery luck, and it's like it's not really a good draft. So it's just like it just shows like how bad AK has you know done with this team. To not tank this season is like absolute malpractice. The Bulls should have 100% been tanking this season, and they had every ability to do so. Even after their 5-0 start, the Bulls went on a horrible streak after that, and are like, okay, this is the time to tank, right? You need to tank now, because you're off, like you are suddenly under 500 after like 17 games in or whatever it was, like, or I think it was like 20 games in. But you have plenty of time to tank it and just like be like a bottom 8 team this season, and you decide not to do that. Okay. Meanwhile, though, you trying to tank for then future drafts doesn't make any sense. So the time to actually go ahead and get a superstar in the draft was like this upcoming draft. It's past your chance now. You're basically just hoping for lottery, like very, very high lottery luck come lottery draft, or draft lottery day. I believe it's May 10th. So like that's the only thing I'm seeing right now. And so if you're not going to go ahead and build through the draft like you should be doing, then free agency is in open books right now. I was like, you have a lot of money to go ahead and spend. You know, I don't want you to overpay for guys, obviously, but you know, if it comes to restricted free agency and like you're willing to overpay for some of these guys just to try to maybe steal them away, like I really think Peyton Watson's probably the move. Honestly, like he is the guy as like I'm really looking at as like would really help move this team forward. But I maybe not like move this team forward significantly, but it would upgrade this team significantly, at least in my opinion, as like the overall just kind of collection of talent. Like I hope you're really going after him. Like I'm willing to have you kind of overpay for him a little bit just to try to get him away from Denver. I'm gonna go ahead and search through the free agency class again. It's just like we'll see what we can maybe go after. Like Kelly Oubre, for example, is like a very like solid player, but like, he's 30. You know? So I don't really fully know what exactly the Bulls are gonna be going after, which is kind of the reason why like, I've been kind of saying like if they keep Io, it's like honestly like not it's like not the worst decision. Honestly, like I don't really know how much better you're gonna get. Unless you're going after like a star in free agency, which again, there's not really many available. But yeah, like keep an eye is like not the worst decision in the world. So we'll see what happens here. But again, it's just we cannot. I'm gonna be very pissed off if the trade deadline is we don't sell Kobe at bare minimum. We do nothing at the trade deadline, and then we extend Vucevic like 3 days later. And we go into the offseason and do nothing. Like, that's not going to fly. I hope that everybody can all agree that if the Bulls do nothing at this deadline and then nothing in free agency, that is truly unacceptable no matter what side you're on. Anti-tank, tank, like rebuild, don't rebuild, try to win now. I don't care what side you're on. If AK actually does that for this trade deadline into then the offseason, unacceptable. Everyone should be mad. And I'm showing you right now, there are plenty of options available. And if I don't see this get done, like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to lose my mind. If we aren't spending our free agency money properly, or if we don't even try, we're just like, oh, don't worry, we're just going to re-sign our guys. Like, if I see this team bring back Kevin Huerter on like a 2-year, $20 million deal or something like that, I'm actually just going to like lose my mind. Like, I'm actually gonna go jump off a bridge in game or something. Like that's just gonna piss me off to no ends. So don't do that, please. If you're AK, like please do not go ahead and just re-sign the guys that are on expiring contracts. That's gonna really make me upset. So, with that being said, though, let's go ahead and talk about moving forward. So again, trade deadline is Thursday. Okay, so. I think we're obviously, we're into Friday now, but we have less than a week. We have 6 days right now until the trade deadline. Important games ahead, okay? In my opinion, I think that like the Bulls really need to just lose these games just to make sure that AK does like in fact sell and not buy at this deadline, but that's my opinion. But moving ahead here, okay? Here the Bulls are gonna be traveling to Miami, and gonna be facing Miami in back-to-back games here, okay? Saturday and Sunday is when the Bulls will be facing Miami in both these games. 7 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, 5 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, okay? So we obviously know who Miami is. Top pace in the league. They play fast. They have a solid defense, though, compared to where the Bulls don't. Norman Powell is their best scorer. Bam Adebayo is arguably their best player. I mean, even like we saw today, like the offense for Miami like isn't always sustainable for them. And I think honestly the Bulls should have won tonight, but they didn't. So I'm gonna be heavily intrigued in exactly what we're gonna be seeing here. But I think that the Bulls' best chance to win in this little mini 3-game series was tonight. I think now from here on out, Spoelstra is absolutely just gonna outcoach Billy, and it's just gonna lead to the Bulls just not really having much of a chance here. But I could be wrong. Back-to-backs, especially that like the Sunday night game and the second night of a back-to-back, could be possible. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I really don't think we're gonna be winning on Saturday. Both teams are coming at the exact same time, or should be coming about the exact same time. Same rest, right? Like Miami's gonna be at home this time, and it's actually like a schedule, or I guess it's not really a scheduled game, but it's a game. But, you know, Saturday, home game for Miami. I think it's going to be tough for the Bulls to win that one, but we will see. After that, though, we're going to face the Milwaukee Bucks. By the way, the Bulls have also lost to the Bucks twice this season, so just to keep that in mind. You know, Giannis is not going to be playing in that one, but, you know, we talk about the Bulls losing to the Pacers 3 times in a row. The Bulls have lost to the Bucks 2 times in a row. So, that's not like a walk in the park game for the Bulls. Like, I think that people think that, oh, we'll just easily just beat Milwaukee now because Giannis isn't playing. Like, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but like, there's nothing, at least in my opinion, that's gonna be like, yeah, the Bulls can just like beat this bad team on any given night. Like, I don't think it's possible. Like, yeah, the Bulls could win that game, but I think it's very losable. The way I should probably phrase it. Matt is trying to one up Rose's retired jersey ceremony, retiring Mark Aguirre's. I did see that, but I think it's deserved, honestly. So I don't think it's really one-upping. It's kind of like the jersey retirement kind of season now. So I don't really know if it's like one-upping or anything. Spo will continue to outcoach Billy. Yeah. I'm definitely thinking that that's what's going to happen here, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't have much faith, honestly, the Bulls winning either of these games against Miami. Now, could they win against Milwaukee? Yeah, they probably should win against Milwaukee, but we see how that turns out. And then we get to face Toronto. This is going to definitely be like an interesting kind of test here because we're going to have to face Toronto, I think, 3 times. Yeah. And this is the first of 3 matchups this season. So Toronto has just notoriously, in like the recent history, given Bulls some problems. I don't know why. But the way that Toronto plays, especially this year, I think is going to give the Bulls some issues. So Toronto has been obviously one of like a top 4 team in the East this season, which has been a big shocker. So I don't honestly know how it's going to work out. But I don't have much faith the Bulls winning against Toronto, honestly, at this point. The Cavs are actually on par with Toronto, which is kind of crazy because remember when the Bulls beat the Cavs in back-to-back games and then also won both games against Atlanta? like oh, see, we're great. Yeah, about that. 5.5 games behind Cleveland now. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, then I think that's that. No, okay, we actually have 1 more game. So, or no, we shouldn't actually. Yeah, the deadline should have already passed at this point. So, this is the last game. This Toronto game here is the last game, or sorry, this Milwaukee Bucks game. Should be the last game. So. It's gonna be trade deadline after that. So the Bulls, this game is post deadline. So twice against Miami, 1 against Milwaukee. We'll see how this plays out. I mean, the Bulls have already lost their first game against Miami here. I don't know, man. Everything just tells me the Bulls need to sell. Trade Kobe, please. Again, that's nothing against Kobe. It's just time just to move on from him. If you trade Io also for good value, that's also okay with me. Trade anybody else, like, you know, trade anyone else that's not named Montes or Noah Senge. I'm like, hey, we get good value in return? Sure, I'm all for it. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I do not think that's gonna happen. I really do not think that we're gonna get actually any trades here. And so I'm actually also saying this for a reason because I've been wrong in all these deadlines. Like, I predicted, I think in every deadline, and I think I've only gotten it right once, if I'm not mistaken, about like what the Bulls actually do in terms of like, oh, they're gonna make a move or they're not gonna make a move. Last season, I said that I do not think the Bulls are gonna be trading Zach LaVine. I really did not think that they would. Now, I said at the start of the season I thought they would, but I'm like, I don't think they're gonna trade him at this point because of just how the season was playing out. The Bulls still want to be competitive. LaVine was having a good year. Like, I was just like, no, I don't think they're gonna make the trade. They eventually do trade him though. And then of course they didn't trade Kobe, which I think they should have. They should have traded Vucevic, and they didn't, of course. So, yeah, I've just been wrong. So I'm basically saying that I think the Bulls are gonna stand pat, just so that I could be wrong again, and the Bulls go and actually do something proper here. I'm gonna hope that's exactly what's gonna happen here. But my gut is telling me that the Bulls are gonna do nothing. We keep hearing all these rumors, but like, I swear to God, like, the recent wins against Boston and Minnesota have given AK just enough an excuse to not go ahead and sell at this deadline. So if the Bulls do not sell Kobe White at this deadline, I am going to be infuriated. It's going to make me lose my mind. They need to sell him. Whatever the best you can get. It's not the best market, but you got to do it. I can't wait to be upset with you guys. These upcoming streams. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this when it comes to these upcoming streams. I should be here for the Saturday game. I should be able to stream after this one. I should be fine. Sunday though is gonna be very much up in the air for me. I have a lot of homework I need to get to. I feel like I've done like a shit ton of homework like every single day of this week, and I feel like I'm still not caught up. So that's just kind of how the semester's going into right now. But Saturday I'll probably be here. Sunday is gonna be definitely up in the air for me. But again, it's just we're watching basically. It's Groundhog's Day when it comes to the Bulls and Heat games here right now. So I don't really expect anything to happen. Now, obviously, if there's a big trade that does happen, which obviously we're at that point now, I'll be making videos. I'll be streaming if I can. If a big trade does happen, but we'll see. I honestly don't think we're gonna get any sort of trades for the Bulls if it does happen until the next month, like once Sunday hits here. So I don't really expect any trades in the next 2 days. Maybe on Sunday, maybe. But the most probably obvious date to trade anybody is going to be February 2nd and February 4th. Those are off days for the Bulls, so most likely trades will happen then. So I'll be prepared though. If I can stream immediately, I will. If I can't, then obviously I'll be making a video, and I'm probably just gonna be making a video anyway on any trades that do happen. So I'll be on the lookout for those. All right. I want to say thank you guys all for tuning into this Bulls postgame, Bulls versus Heat postgame stream. Bulls on a 3-game losing streak now, so woohoo. We'll see what happens at the deadline. Can't wait to be upset with y'all. I have very low expectations, so all I'm gonna say is just don't raise your expectations at all. But I'll be here to cover it with you guys. Can't wait to cover with you guys, whether the Bulls do nothing or something. I'll be here to cover it all with you guys. So can't wait for this next week. It's gonna be a fun week, and hopefully the Bulls do the right decisions. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for now and go ahead and get some sleep. You guys also be on the lookout for any sort of notifications, any sort of rumors and stuff like that. I'll be doing my due diligence as well to be on the lookout. But with that being said, though, I'll be seeing you guys on Saturday, no matter what, after the Bulls face the Miami Heat for the second game of this little 3-game mini series. Yeah, I'll see you guys then. Have a good night. Be safe, and make sure you are staying up to date with all these rumors and everything. All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for me. Peace out. Be safe. Bye.